and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. here on Tuesday, March 5th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect rainy skies with a high of 77. In hour one of today's show, we'll talk LSU spring football as the Tigers hit the practice field today, and we'll discuss the latest with the New Orleans Saints. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Hour number one of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
Let me go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome in, OTB. Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. So glad to be back in studio. Shout out Louisiana Restaurant Association having us out at U Club yesterday. A lot of fun being on site, but I missed the friendly confines here in the studio, as well as our wonderful friends and producers, L'Entre and Del Shop. And look, man, we got a really good show planned for you today. I did not realize this. Spring practice starts today, dude. Hell yeah, it kind of snuck up on us a little bit. In fact, it starts in an hour. Like the first media availability is at 7:55. Is this the first time they've done morning practice?
Nope.
This early? Nope. I knew they were doing like around 10 a.m. Last time, but I thought even then I thought the media availability was like 9:30 or 10. Either way, I would have loved to start practice in the morning. Probably would have never gone to class though, because the second I would have gotten done, I just would have been playing Call of Duty the entire rest of the day. So I guess I kind of did that anyway. I didn't really go to class anyway, so I don't know if it would have made a difference. Except it would have been more enjoyable to practice in the morning probably because it would have been a little cooler. What's going on? How are we feeling today, Jake?
I was laying in bed last night, and I drifted off to sleep, and I had a dream that we were beating Bingville 14-3.
Hell yeah.
Then I woke up kind of sad, but then I cheered up again when I realized it was only a dream because we're going to beat Bingville by way more than that.
Hell yeah. Who is Bingville in this scenario?
Michigan State baseball. That's the first SEC game.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Wait, isn't that still 2 weeks away? Or is it?
Yeah, it was first SEC game.
Okay, yeah,
I can dream about it.
Getting pumped up.
I can dream about it.
It's getting real pumped up.
Yeah.
Alondra Taylor, we feeling good today? Feeling excited to have us back in here? Did you miss us? Is it weird when it's just you two in here making small talk during the commercial breaks? What do y'all talk about?
Weather?
I don't think we really talked much yesterday.
Y'all just sit there in silence and just both in your own little Gen Z internet silos, closed off from one another. Hey guys, put the screens down and open up your mouths and hearts.
I don't know the year cutoff, but I think I'm actually like the youngest millennial still, maybe.
You can sit on this council. We do not grant you the rank of millennial.
Well, anyways, I missed Jake yesterday. Glad to have him back in studio.
To be fair, Taylor tries to talk to me, and I'm just like, oh my, it's because the vibe is not the same when it's just us.
Aren't the lights off over here? Most
no, it's completely different. No, it is, and it's intimate. It's an intimate it's like just you and another person in a dark room sitting there. Together with kind of a lot of commercial breaks to hang out during.
Well, Taylor and I, we do work with, the LSU Sports Radio Network, which is basically the same thing, him and I just sitting in a studio.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's not
So y'all have reached the
comfortable silence.
Yes. Yeah. What a great place to reach with any of your friends.
Yeah.
I've always used it as a test of true friendship where you can sit there and let the air breathe.
Yeah.
You don't feel the need to say
awkward.
anything. And
it's
just feel comfortable.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
We just be vibing.
We had a fire drill right after the show yesterday.
Yeah.
It's the least exciting thing. I don't know that I care at all.
Well, you were saying you missed The Office.
Fire
you missed
drill?
that. Not a drill. They were testing the alarm system.
Did you have to leave the building?
No.
And like follow your teacher and then go back in an
I
orderly
got scared.
manner?
I got under the
Teacher
desk
here.
shortly. I know that's not what you do, but I panicked a little bit.
Yeah. Well, at least you practiced.
Yeah.
So now you know what not to do in the future.
Exactly.
Just like what LSU is going to do today, as they will practice and try to learn what not to do in the future. One thing I would not do is, just ideally is put together a defensive line that has like no defensive linemen. But we can get into that. Let's talk about things that we are most looking forward to during spring ball. And I will say this, or looking forward to, worried about, watching, whatever you want to have, you want to frame it. Are we being a little too cocky here locally with this LSU team? And I guess to answer this first, we need to kind of establish where our expectations are at. I feel like everybody's pretty much playoff or bust with LSU this year, right?
Yep.
Year 3?
Yep.
I think that's fair. Well, I think it's fair in terms of like, you're LSU and it's year 3 under Brian Kelly, and this is why you pay him $10 million a year. Is it fair if we actually look at this team? And I was thinking about it this morning. It's kind of crazy. Like, if we're being objective, you have question marks everywhere. Maybe save for offensive line. I mean, you've got, like I said, the interior D-line just looks like a bit of a train wreck. You've got a running back crew that is, you got 2 guys? And one of them is not going to be playing during the spring. Josh Williams, I think Josh Williams will be fine. You trust him, right? You got a wide receiver crew where you're going to be replacing 2 guys that are maybe like top 15 picks, top 20 picks.
Yeah.
You're replacing the Heisman winner of the best Heisman season. Like, you got to replace Jayden Daniels' running ability. That's just like one little simple thing there. You got a new offensive coordinator from that Heisman season, right? The quarterback coach getting bumped up. Now, he's been a coordinator in the past, certainly, but this is his biggest opportunity yet. You got to, just look at the whole defense, right? Like, I think the defensive backfield to get better, but there's massive questions there.
Linebackers pretty much the same.
Linebacker's pretty solid. That's true.
Harold Perkins.
And even then, that's exciting. Like, I'm not someone who fears Harold Perkins moving in the middle. I don't mean fear in terms of making him ineffective. I think Blake Baker and Harold Perkins in the middle becomes – so fine, we can say middle linebacker or we'll just say linebacker and offensive line you feel good about. Specialists you feel good about as well. Damian Ramos has been great, solid. He's back once again. But, outside of that, and look, the return game hasn't been anything to write home about at all anyway. Maybe you like the potential there with who's it from Mississippi State?
Xavier Thomas.
I knew it was slightly off.
I wish Howard played on this team because he plays corner.
Oh, that's
much needed.
Yeah. Then he just leave Miami. Anyway,
he got released. Yeah.
Am I off base there? Like, we're saying this should be a playoff team, and yet that's a lot of very important questions to have to answer.
I think it's valid questions, without question, as far as the personnel. Now, you feel better about the coaching staff on the defensive side of the football.
Very much so.
So that gives you a big positive when you're trying to maybe check some things off. And I think linebacker is the only position that you're kind of solidified at because those players – not only did they actually get better on a bad defense, but because of what Blake Baker's done with linebackers in the past, that makes you feel even better about that group. But no, you're right. Outside of offensive line and linebacker, everything else is, I wouldn't even say like a question mark, but it hasn't been answered. Like, we feel really good about Garrett Nussmeier and what he can be. I think we feel good about what this receiver group can be. Mason Taylor and tight end might put themselves into the category with the offensive line and linebacker as well. Like, they've got multiple years.
Well, they might be a more known quantity, but there's still questions about how good is that group. Mason Taylor was pretty solid last year, I would say. So, he has maybe potential to – but it's like I guess I know who the players are going to be there, but outside of Taylor, I don't know who else is going to be really good.
Yeah. It's a better situation than you had 2 years ago when it was like –
without a doubt.
You had 2 tight ends. And you had your offensive coordinator over there working with 2 tight ends. But no, there's guys that we feel like they can step up and hope that they step up, but there's still going to be a lot of question marks. And there's going to be a lot of position battles. Like, spring practice starts today. I hope that those players realize this is where you go win a job in some of those borderline areas.
Well, I mean, and so that's kind of the reason for bringing all this up is to really reinforce how important this spring is. I mean, when you have like when you have an upperclassman laden returning starter team, spring ball can feel like a bit like busy work at times, potentially, right? Now, that is not nothing in life is 100%. That's not going to be across the board. Anytime you zoom in on a roster, you're going to find areas in which it's important for them to really compete during this portion of the calendar. The difference with this LSU team is it's every position. There is playing time up for grabs everywhere, save for O-line, linebacker, and even then we got to kind of figure out who's going to rise and fall in the linebackers
order.
a little bit.
Yeah, the pecking order for who's going to be out there first, because like we saw Whit Weeks flash last year, and that is a player, like I'm excited for Blake Baker to work with him. Like that's a player that I think already showed flashes with no real leader at that position last year.
Yeah, Edub says, you're not solidified at linebacker. You hope you are. I would agree with Jake. I'd echo what Jake just said there. I think if you, and this is probably a byproduct, I'm not trying to be a watch the film guy, but this is probably a byproduct of us putting so much time into breaking down these LSU games. But no, I think you got a special one in Weeks, and I think Harold Perkins, like I feel completely confident again about Harold Perkins under Blake Baker, not just playing the position well, but producing, being a threat, affecting the game. Again, go back to Damone Clark's 5.5 sacks and 16 tiffles. That was from an inside linebacker spot. Okay, I think you can recreate that. So no, I do actually think you are solidified there. But no, it's probably the most important spring that I can remember in a while, because there's question marks everywhere. People have to kind of give. You're trying to instill confidence in the fan base that, okay, no, Garrett Nussmeier can be the guy. You can replace Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.'s two outlier freaky wide receivers that are going to be leaving. You can get the defense back to where you need it to be under the coaching regime change. But again, it's it all comes in a year that Brian Kelly, since day one, has said this would be the big step forward year. Even last season, when there was a lot of hype about this LSU team. We had no idea the defense was going to be that bad. And there's a lot of talk. I mean, could they actually threaten for the West? Could they maybe even threaten for a national championship? And it ended up all falling apart. But even in the preseason, when it wasn't falling apart, Brian Kelly kept saying, yeah, this year we're going to be good. But like the third year is when it really comes together, when the multiple years of track laid by the process will really start to pop off and pay dividends. And it's like, okay, so that's the expectation that you set for yourself, and yet now you have a roster that is at a real crossroads in some areas, has a lot of potential in others, and really has seemingly none in that interior defensive line, at least. So, well, I'm excited to see what storylines emerge over the next couple of weeks. And if you're one of these players, like Jake said, you just got to lock in and understand the opportunity that you have. There is no single greater resource in college football than playing time, even in the age of NIL. And do you know why? Because playing time means NIL, right? Playing time means more money if you play well and you play a lot, especially if you're not someone who didn't have maybe have the biggest profile coming out of high school or whatnot. And so if you want to achieve your dreams, you want to make money, you want to get them nice cars, you know what you do? You get playing time. You know how you do that? You go practice your ass off and you win that job. How you do that is by winning the pole position in the spring. Like, jobs will not necessarily be decided right now, but you can position yourself for fall camp to be the leader in the clubhouse. And so whether it's wide receiver, running back, like we said, defensive back, both safety and corner, edge rushers, outside linebackers, even some inside linebackers. Like there is playing time to be divvied up, and I want to know who's going to go out there and take it for themselves and not just expect it to be handed to them.
Yeah, one thing that I'll be paying attention to as well is who's cross-training in different positions on the defensive line. How many guys that have typically played on the edge kick inside because of need? And can that be a place where they earn themselves some playing time? And we talked about a couple of candidates for that a couple of days ago. You also have a lot of young guys that enrolled already from this last signing class that are going to have that ability maybe to go over there and take a position, right? I look at like different body types and like Gabe Relaford, right, coming over. He's been a defensive end, but I mean he's close to 270. And so like when I got to school, never played fullback before in my life. I went to a school that was like 5 wide, basically. And they're like, hey, if you want to play, if you want to get on the field, playing fullback is going to be the fastest way for you to do that. I'm like, well, sign me up.
Yeah.
Where do I go to gain weight? And Tommy Moffitt pointed me in that right direction because that's what I wanted to play. I wanted to get on the field. And I knew running back would come later on. So how many guys will buy in to that process of maybe changing their body, kicking down inside, knowing that there is plenty of reps there available, and, you know, forget all of, hey, man, I've always been an edge defender. I've always been an end. That's what I want to be. Do it for yourself. Do it for the team. And then 2 years down the road, you move out to the edge. I would want to show the coaches that I'll do whatever it takes to get on the field. So I want to see how many players will do that during the spring process as well.
You're good on those players, but oh man, that's kind of a commentary in and of itself on where the interior D line is at. Is if you end up in a position where you're
they're going to have
relying on a true freshman edge defender gaining weight and kicking down inside. But yeah, like you said,
you laid out the bodies that they have. They've already moved an offensive lineman.
Yeah, right now
over.
you have one guy that I would say is like starter level. You have one guy that I would qualify as okay backup, and then you have a JUCO transfer, freshman early enrollee, and an offensive lineman that just switched a couple weeks ago. That's wild.
Yeah.
That is as empty of a cupboard as you will ever find, especially here at LSU. I mean, but really just kind of in like just major college football in general.
And somebody asked in the chat like how at a place like LSU can you get to this point? I think it's because you had guys, in my opinion, make bad decisions.
You had 3 guys leave early.
I think Mekhi Wingo is the only one that should have contemplated leaving early and could have had a decision on his hands.
Mace Smith, George Jefferson, Conway. I mean, Jefferson did pretty well in the Senior Bowl, though, no?
No, he did.
Yeah.
He did, but I think he could have really helped himself coming back and being
getting
high-profile.
Bo Davis coaching and getting actual effective coaching for a year instead of a guy who got thrust into a tough position like John Jancic did last year. So, yeah, but 3 guys leaving early. That's how it happens.
That's how it happens. I probably didn't expect any of them to, maybe one.
Yeah. And it's impossible not to play the game that'll just drive you crazy of what if you had announced the house move earlier?
Yeah.
What if that news cycle had moved a bit faster? Could you tell them behind closed doors, or did you need to play it so close to the vest because recruiting was going on? There's a lot there that you can kind of drive yourself crazy with. All right. When we get back, let us know what's your thing that you're most looking forward to. It could be a player, an element of the team, anything like that. We got to get to the curious case of Jaylen Cook. We got a lot on the docket today. A bunch of random national stories as well. I mean, Manziel back in, Reggie Bush, Jason Kelce. Is Russell Wilson the worst trade of all time? Just a ton to get to. Coach Kim Mulkey coming up at 8:30. Keep it locked right here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding. Go check out Tommy's today. If you haven't worked with Tommy's before, well, prepare to be blown away. That's why I'm always telling you, just make Tommy's one of your 3 bids, okay? Because that's how confident they are. They want you to go gather multiple bids, see what's out there for you. And then they just want to be in that group and then let them sell you on it. When you deal with Tommy, you're going to see immediately why they've won that Angie Service Award 7 years in a row. It's because the charisma, the attention to detail, the commitment to getting the job done for you is unparalleled. And so, look, if you need vinyl siding or hardy plank, they got you. They install all types of doors. Any type of door, they got you. You want vinyl and wood windows? It's all there at Tommy's. It's tax return season. Invest in your home with Tommy's.
Yeah, go to that website, gotommys.com, and see what they can do for you. You can find testimonials of past clients. You can find a gallery of what they've done as well. Like T-Bob says, man, their personality is going to blow you away when they come into your home. Go to that website to get it set up, gotommys.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard? Our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU.
Join Taylor Sharp for a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We'll be reacting to A&M and LSU. How's the Heisman race looking? Saints, Falcons, and much, much more. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And here's what you gave me. Cake Hester. I wonder if Jake's cake is gritty. I mean, guys, come on. Not a single – we did not get a single player, not a single element of the game. All we got were comments about Jake's ass, which is admittedly cakey and full and wonderful.
Thank you.
But not the point of the segment, guys.
But I appreciate you noticing.
Let's stay on task today. Please, chat. Brian Burgess, which player are you most excited to see during spring practice? Thank you, Brian. I guess I should have thought of an answer. So, okay, I'll turn back my own critique on myself here. Who do you got?
Kyron Lacy. He's now the new number one.
It's a good call.
The number one in a position that has, you could argue, but I don't think anybody would argue at this point, 2 of the 5 best receivers in the NFL, and I think the best receiver in the NFL, and Justin Jefferson. You have 2 first-round picks that probably solidified themselves as 2 top 15 picks after the combine in Indy with Brian Thomas running a 4.33. So the recent run of receiver at LSU, if you're a dog, you're going to get drafted in the first round. So Kyron Lacy, now is your time. It is your time to go out there and shine, show that you can be a true number 1 receiver, show that you can be the guy that can lead this young receiver group behind you. And I know you've got older guys coming in, via the transfer portal, but it's a very talented room, but it is a young room. And now you were a 3, and you were a good 3. I mean, there was moments you had at Alabama against Texas A&M where you showed flashes of being able to handle being the receiver 1 at a place like LSU. Now, go take spring practice, show the leadership, and show that you have the ability to go be that guy.
That's a great answer. I think, obviously Garrett Nussmeier jumps to mind because, of course, right? We hold these things to be self-evident, if you will. Harold Perkins is another one that you could say yes because of star power, because the kind of somewhat potentially controversial move to move back on the inside. Maybe my answer lies in trying to find the answer to this question. How do you replace the running ability of Jayden Daniels? How many yards did he rush for the past 2 seasons? Is it? I know it's over 2,000. It's not 3,000, is it?
No, but I would say
in that 1,500 a year.
Yeah, no.
No, I would say it's somewhere in the 2,500 range.
But whatever, that's a lot of production to replace on the ground, and you're going to have a spring ball without a Josh Williams. I mean, who's going to be playing running back this spring? Caden Durham,
Caleb Jackson.
Caleb Jackson. That's me. No. I got my. Caleb Jackson and Caden Durham, because their syllables are their same and they kind of sound alike. I constantly mix them up in my head.
Same position, understandable.
But Caleb Jackson, that's what I'm saying. So who else though?
Bunch of walk-ons.
So the rushing yards is a little over 2,000. So not quite 2,500, about 2,100 for Jayden Daniels. But still, that's
how do you replace it? Do those just become air yards? Are you suddenly just going to try to push towards 4,000 through the air with?
I mean, you can
with Garrett Nussmeier,
but you have to. So the one critique I had about LSU's offense a year ago, the number 1 offense in the country, undoubtedly one of the best that we've seen in recent memory in college football, there wasn't a lot of creativity in the run game. Now, they didn't have to have the creativity because the running backs were, solid, and they were picking up 4 yards a pop and all that kind of stuff. But also Jayden would take it 80 yards and be like, okay, we're going to do more of that instead of run more outside zone. Or we're going to do more of that instead of run counter. So I understand why, because you had a weapon, and it's keep it, simple, stupid method. But they have to be more creative this year, more diverse. Like Joe Sloan in his past has done some different things. Like he's not going to just line up an 11 personnel in gun and run inside zone.
And
because they can't.
So that's a great answer in terms of partially how you're going to do it. Get more creative in the run game, more gap scheme, maybe a little more power and counter coming back into it. I mean, how much do design quarterback runs still function in here in terms of like zone reads? Or well, I guess I want to technically be a design quarterback run. What I'm saying is, is Garrett Nussmeier a threat to pull? Or do you get away from a lot of those zone read concepts and go into more, like you're saying, counter, power, traditional, horn boss and everything else, because it's kind of an empty threat having him read a backside edge defender?
It's not that he's not athletic enough to be able to do it, but here's why you won't see as much of it this year like you saw a year ago. Last year, even though Jayden Daniels was the best player in college football, he had the ability to go out there and do that, obviously, with his skill set, but also you had the luxury of trusting your backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a little bit different this year. Now,
you got Swan,
that's
though.
what I'm saying. You go get Swan because he has starts in the SEC, but what's the trust level of the backup quarterback? That is going to tell you how much of any of that they do. Again, like Garrett Nussmeier will never be confused for Jayden Daniels running the football. But also, and you know this, T, when you have a solid backup, somebody that you trust, that you feel like can run the offense, well, you're going to take a little bit more chances with a quarterback run game because if he gets hurt, you have a guy that can step in. They think they have a guy, but you had seen Nussmeier come in against Georgia, the moment not too big, in an SEC championship game, and you knew that about his personality. They had to figure that out about Swan now.
And for what it's worth, like I feel confident about Swan in that regard because he is so experienced. All right, we got some answers rolling in here. Mr. Big says Shelton Sampson Jr. I think that's a great call. Okay, 3 starting receivers right now. Here we got. There's going to be Kyron Lacey, obviously, who's kind of slotted in as wide receiver 1.
Yep. Chris
Hilton, yes, who will be one of the top 3. I'm not sure if he becomes like you're just kind of, continues to kind of be that deep threat guy, or if he becomes more kind of volume and consistent. But after that, it's wide open, huh?
It is wide open. Now, C.J. Daniels is going to get every opportunity from Liberty to be that guy.
He's very
But
interesting.
Sheldon Sampson, 5-star guy. He is somebody that played at one of the best programs, not only here in the state, but, across the country, right? Catholic continues to put out numerous amounts of college football players every single year. So, the pedigree there. And, he looks like he's ready to play right now. So I would love to see him compete. Go see if you can take one of those top spots, right? I think one's solidified, but I think 2, 3, 4 are still open, even though we think we know who's going to slot in those positions.
So C.J. Daniels in that mix, Sampson in that mix, like you said, Chris Hilton in that mix, Aaron Anderson in that mix, Xavier Thomas in that mix. Anybody else? Did I miss it? Did I miss a wide receiver name?
So Kai Preen was a guy that they were high on last year.
That's right.
He's a guy who might actually move to running back in the spring. They said he could play both last year. Kyle Parker was another freshman last year that we heard his name a lot. And then, of course, all the freshmen coming in.
We had another great answer rolling in here from William Ivy. He says, Preston Hickey's documented as the strongest dude in the team. He's a defensive lineman. Why is he never mentioned? Had anybody ever heard of Preston Hickey?
So Preston Hickey's a walk-on. He joined the team.
From Oklahoma State, it looks like.
98?
He was a freshman at Oklahoma State in 2022, but, 6'1", 300. Old boy looks thick. He's from St. Paul's. I don't know. I don't know anything about Preston Hickey, but again, if you're a walk-on, there's not a better path to the field than interior defensive line right now. Because they can't be beholden to anybody because they don't have any scholarship players to be beholden to. So this is if you are Preston Hickey, this is a golden opportunity to go fight your way into that rotation.
Yeah, and this is not disrespect. Walk-ons have gone on to be stars before. Chris Doering, see, I said something nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't slandering walk-ons. I've played with guys. You've played with guys that started as walk-ons. It is tough to necessarily count on a walk-on going into SEC play when you haven't seen him on the field. It's not to say that he's not going to get an opportunity, though. Like T-Bob said, that's what spring practice is for. It is to go win a job. Very few people have their job already pretty much guaranteed. Go win a job, go compete. Now is the time because you literally don't have any bodies. There's 4 guys out there, and you're 3 deep in spring practice. You're no longer just 2 deep like you are in fall camp. You're 3 deep as far as 3s will get reps in front of all the coaches.
Yeah, fair.
Go win your reps.
That's a good point. Everybody gets to practice a bit more here on in season. Gray Bear says Aaron Anderson. I kind of feels like if I had to guess that I don't know if I have much faith in Anderson. Would love to be proved wrong there, but between Xavier coming in and already kind of struggling to look like he had that game-breaking speed that we thought we were promised, I'm not very bullish on that. Let's see what other answers here as we wrap up this segment. Chapa Millet says Deshaun Womack. Absolutely. Yep. If you want to talk about a guy that is potentially poised to take a big step forward and be a guy that the SEC as a whole does not know before the season, but could know by the end of the season, Deshaun Womack would score at the top of that list. Paul Schuler says Dominic McKinley. Is he coming in? Early?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so either. So I don't know if we're going to get eyes on him.
Because the guys that have already decided to come in early that are here, they all have obviously their jersey number already attached to themselves in the roster.
Fawn says Josh Williams. You're not going to see much Josh Williams this spring. It's already confirmed he's recovering from injury, and they're kind of and we know Josh for sure. And then Christian says, he's not coming.
McKinley is not coming.
Christian says J.K. Johnson, which sure. Yeah. And really, look, I don't know. There's Jair Brown in corner right now. There's J.K. Johnson. There's Ashton Stamps. The guy I'm watching is
Ashton Stamps. He was kind of your constant the back half of the year, right? They loved him in fall camp, but he wasn't here during spring. This is his first spring, and he's a guy that you're like, hey, if we could have one guy lock down one position on one side of the field, I feel like Ashton Stamps would have to get first crack.
I'm not gonna sleep on. I know he's not gonna practice in the spring because of injury, but Zay Alexander was a good player.
Yeah,
I thought when he went down, you saw a difference in a bad way. So, he's 6'2.5", almost 200 pounds. So he's a long corner. Again, not gonna see him in the spring. But if some of these players that we're talking about, certainly the Ohio State transfers, if they work out, then you have a completely different feeling in what the DB room looks like. Same thing when you look at the safety position. If Gilbert coming over from Texas A&M is a player that shows up and shows that he has the ability, you've got guys coming back. You have Gilbert. Major Burns coming back for his 73rd season.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out. Yeah.
So, you've got some veteran guys back there. So, Right now, it's a major question mark, and I am not saying that anything is answered, but you do have guys with the ability. You just never know how a transfer is going to work out. Like, one of the more shocking things, and I think a lot of it was honestly due to the coaching portion of this, but I watched Omar Speights at Oregon State be an all Pac-12 first-team player.
Yeah.
I saw him against Caleb Williams and USC flash on film more than any player when they were on defense and USC was on offense. And he got here, and it just did not hit. It did not work. Did not look like he was related to the player that I saw on tape at Oregon State. So that happens. And how do you transition? It's a new league. That's a portion of it, but it's new coaching as well. It's a new scheme. How quickly can you adapt your skill set to that scheme? We don't know that. We think that transfers that we've seen play, even within the same league, can do that, but you just don't know until game one.
Well, if nothing else, you feel way more confident about the coaching now. All right, let's go to break. When we get back, maybe a couple more here, but I want to get to Jaylen Cook as well. Keep it locked. OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
AllStarToyotaBatonRouge.com, AllStarToyotaBatonRouge.com. Go to the website today, and you can start to explore the incredible selection over there at All-Star, whether you're looking to get a Toyota certified used vehicle or you get a great deal. Maybe you want to buy new. Maybe you just need a lease, whatever the case. It's all there. If you want to go ahead and schedule your service, remember, all makes and models welcome at the All-Star Toyota Service Center. Doesn't have to be a Toyota. Doesn't have to be from All-Star. You get a free professional estimate. They got a shuttle service right there inside. They got rental cars if it's a big multi-day job. You mention OTB, you get $100 off your deductible. How about that? Also, ToyotaBatonRouge.com.
Go to that website and go ahead and reserve that vehicle for spring break. You got a trip coming up, and you want a rental because maybe you need something a little bit bigger. Maybe you need something that you currently don't have. Or maybe you want something better on gas mileage. Maybe it's not always going to be something bigger. Maybe it's something smaller, better for gas. Maybe you just want to keep the miles off your vehicle. Whatever it is, you can rent that Toyota today. Call Miss Lisa Sessions in that rental department to get it reserved. Go to the website, allstartoyota.batonrouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
He's here. Anyone want a Coors Light?
Oh, shoot, I forgot to play the song. I got a guy who can fix this.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing, and sheet metal.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. The LSU football Tigers are on the practice field kicking off spring. We'll have your update. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Back to OTB. So I think media availability for spring practice opened up in about 15 minutes, right? 7:55?
Availability is not until Thursday. Practice opens at 7:55.
Okay,
Media
okay.
availability is at 9 a.m. on Thursday.
Okay, so I read the schedule a bit wrong there, but so practice opened up in 15 minutes. The first steps of this 24 LSU football team going into the 2024 Gene of college football will take place. Privé Luxury Virgin and Hair Extension says Shone Washington at defensive tackle. Sure, yeah, I mean absolutely JUCO transfer. So like. I've kind of been painting Shone as kind of an afterthought being a JUCO transfer, but maybe he ends up being your best guy or up there with Guillory. Maybe that's like the other legit starter. It's a legitimate answer. And then I apologize. Fonz was not talking about Josh Williams being somebody who wants to watch. He was saying Josh Williams in terms of a walk-on, finding his way to the field and becoming a real key element of the team.
His story's a little bit different, and I'm not saying that it can't be done again. But Josh Williams had scholarship offers for other places. He just wanted to bet on himself and come to LSU.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different.
What about who? Paul Schuler says, who's the next receiving threat at tight end behind Mason Taylor? Kamorian Pimpton or Mac Markway? Oh, I forgot about Mac Markway.
Markway played a lot last year. Caught a touchdown pass in the was it the bowl game?
Pimpton's probably the more pure receiving threat, but Markway physically has been massive since he was in high school. He just looks like the true blocking tight end and receiving tight end that LSU's been looking for.
You know, like in high school, you used to have the guy that always was in the weight room and he kind of walked and he'd bow his arms out and kind of bow his neck a little bit to try to make himself look a little bit bigger. Well, that's Markway, but he can't help it. Like he's just too swole. I mean, he is a massive human being. Like when he walks into a room, like it looks like his neck is bowed at all times. So the tight end room is so much better. I mean, so much better than it was when you had basically just Mason Taylor. And you had Jack Mashburn as well, but Jack was going to be
a legend.
He was going to be like he was your true Y blocking tight end.
Jack Mashburn will be lost to time.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a bigger impact on a running game than him in that Florida game when all of a sudden, I mean, you're talking about a former quarterback now playing fullback, and all of a sudden they're running counter and all this gap scheme stuff they'd never done before, and then they set the rushing record. Shout out
and
Jack Mashburn.
Gosh, there was an edge defender, it might have been Cox for Florida, who had a profile, was a draftable guy, and Jack Mashburn was making him tap out, making him quit on a football field. Like, I don't want any more of this. Can you go hit somebody else? That tape, that's football.
Hey, he was a high school quarterback at St. Paul.
No, I know.
Hal Bain across the hallway loves that guy.
Okay, St. Paul.
Yep.
Yeah.
St. Paul, and we know his uncle Pat Mashburn.
I thought it was Jamal.
Jamal.
That's
There's a Pat Mashburn.
Who's
too,
Pat Mashburn? I was about to say that joke went completely over my head, Alonzo.
It's not a joke. It's really his uncle.
Oh, it's really his uncle? Well, who's Pat Mashburn?
He's a teacher, I think, at St. Paul's.
Okay, hey, shout out Pat Mashburn, dude. I hope you have a.
Pat.
It's Tuesday, which I know can probably feel a bit daunting as a teacher, but we gonna get there to Friday, Pat. Work out. All right, Jaylen Cook. This LSU basketball team is hot, but Jaylen Cook is not. Jaylen Cook has been suspended indefinitely from the team saying, quote, currently suspended for failure to meet the standards I have in place for the program. That is from Coach Matt McMahon. This was originally said to be a leg injury. Was originally at the beginning of the season thought to be a key behind LSU's potential success, but the boys have gone 4-1 without him, you know? And Trey Hannibal's been the big receiver of minutes in his absence, and what's he's done? 5 assists, 8 boards since he's gotten those minutes. So here, let's talk about the other side so we respect the clock a bit here. But Jaylen Cook suspended indefinitely from this LSU basketball team. More OTB coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Community Steel Company. CommunitySteelCo.com. CommunitySteelCo.com. That's the website. The place is Community Steel. The where is Gonzales, Louisiana. And the why, well, it's multifaceted. The best prices because there's no middleman jacking up the price on the back end. It's straight from the wholesaler. They build it on, they manufacture on site, so it's all right there. Middleman cut out. Live and local sales team that gets to know you and your business better if it's for commercial steel needs or if it's just residential steel, human to human interaction. Imagine that. The fact that you can go touch the product, see it, feel it before you buy it. And you're supporting local business. So many reasons to go to Community Steel, CommunitySteelCo.com.
225-647-2020 is the number. You can call them. You can set everything up there. You can go see them in Gonzales, Louisiana. They've been open for 46 minutes already. And if you want to find that address, go to CommunitySteelCo.com. Top right corner, CommunitySteelCo.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $17,500 off new 23 1500 Bighorn trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $17,500 off new Ram 1500 trucks. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
The best kept secret.
Join us for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch from Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Andy Esco joins us from Las Vegas, and we do first class, second class, and no class. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
timing-wise?
When he had his injury about his initial injury was a little over a month ago.
It's kind of crazy. He only ends up playing in 13 games in this second stint with LSU. But how much of an impact is this? Because he's someone who, I think in those 13 games, he averaged like 15 a game. He had pretty good volume numbers, but he wasn't very efficient. Like the shooting percentages were 40 and 30. I think he had 29 turnovers, sort of 21 assists in those games. So how much of an impact is this losing Jaylen Cook?
I think we already see the impact of it.
Yeah. Fair.
Like, I don't think there's really much of one.
You said what, T, 4-1?
4-1 in the 5 games without him, including all the biggest wins of the season.
I mean, this is something that I think Taylor was talking about a couple weeks ago. They are a different team without him, but they've been a more efficient team without him. And Hannibal's been a point guard. He is not somebody that's going to ever make a ton of threes, but it's kind of changed the mentality. And they're, having a different style with him at point, but it's worked out well for him. Like, there's this toughness about this team now with Hannibal at point guard. So, he'll lead the team in rebounds some nights. Right, so he's just a completely different point guard, but it's worked well for this LSU team. We were talking about it yesterday. I mean, you look up, they have more top 25 wins than Florida, more than Mississippi State, the same amount as Auburn, the same amount as South Carolina, more top 25 wins than Alabama.
Damn.
I mean, the job that more than A&M, who was one of the preseason favorites to go out there and win the conference. And so the job that Matt McMahon has done, again, I realize the standards certainly – here at LSU, when you look at every other team on campus, feels like they're ranked in the top 15. But to where they were, to where they're at now, this is him building the program in the way that he wants to build it. And so things like this, T, and you mentioned it during the break, they will happen when you're trying to create the identity for who you want to be. And if there's an issue, you can't allow it to just continue on. You've got to kind of stop it right there.
Yeah, that's the big win to me here is you put so many resources and to get into Jaylen Cook, and he's obviously got so much natural talent that the temptation is to go out of your way to allow him room to maybe violate some of these rules or get away with a little more than you would the average player. And I'm not saying there's no element of that. We don't know. Maybe he already had, right? Maybe you gave him a little extra leeway, but still it got pushed to a point where you just couldn't do it anymore. But either way, if somebody is flaunting your team rules directly, I don't know what exact rules they were, but if somebody is flaunting the team rules, you will never be a good program if you kowtow to that. Right. Because the second you set that precedent, the team knows. Like the other players in the building know, and they say, okay, you're going to let that guy get with it. And it has a trickle-down effect where a lack of discipline, a lack of commitment, it causes a lack of respect for the coach because you say this thing and do another. And so, my biggest takeaway would just simply be, I'm not going to say they're 4-1 because Jaylen Cook is gone. Now maybe, Hannibal's done very well. And so it is an element. But I'm not going to say it's just because he's gone. But what I will say is good on Matt McMahon for enforcing those rules and holding the line, even with a player that was once viewed as the best player on the team potentially. I think that's the sign of a program moving in the right direction and solid leadership.
I might just be missing something, but do we know why he transferred to Tulane?
I don't know.
You know
me. I don't know
was
this
still the coach there, probably playing time and wanted to become kind of the main guy. And at that time, Will Wade had the roster where you had a lot of players that were pros.
Well, Wade said at the time, he said, we sat down with him and his vision did not match my vision for him, so he transferred.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's all good. Again, I don't know what Jaylen Cook did, but credit to Matt McMahon. And look, now you got who do you got left?
At Arkansas tomorrow night, then you've got Missouri at home coming up March the 9th. Two very winnable games.
Yeah, still have not won a game in conference.
If you can win those games and get to 10-8 in conference, at Arkansas is probably gonna be tough, even though I know they're down.
Yeah.
But one's always tough. But man, if you get 10-8, that would just be an astounding year for this LSU men's program.
Without question, it'd be a major success.
All right, hour 1 of the books. Hour 2 next. We got Coach Mulkey coming up. Keep it locked.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
And with Bayou to You, free delivery. Visit BayouCDJR.com to shop or schedule a same-day appointment with our service department just off I-10 on Belterra and La Place. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on Tuesday, March 5th. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect rainy skies with a high of 77. In hour 2 of today's show, we'll have OTB mailbag at 8:15. Then at 8:30, LSU women's basketball coach Kim Mulkey joins the show. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB, hour number 2 of the books. Hope everyone's having a great day. Talked a lot of LSU spring ball there in hour number 1. Really, and it's so funny because we had so much other stuff to get to in the document, but we love football, celebration of football being back. This hour, we got Coach Mulkey coming up. We got OTB mailbag. I still eventually probably want to get to Johnny Manziel backing Reggie Bush for the Heisman conversation. You got Jason Kelce retiring. You got, and then you got a great conversation taking place in the Body Ford YouTube chat right now that I want to get to, which is a hypothetical that Jake put in there, which is, the Saints are on the board. They're picking 14, and both Brian Thomas Jr. and Dallas Turner are available. Who you got? Maybe this is actually not a bad Citizens Bank and Trust poll question of the day if we wanted to do something along those lines. Who would you go, though, between BTJ and Dallas Turner?
Whew, that's tough. That is incredibly tough.
Two guys that both were big combine winners.
So I think it depends on internally in the building, how do you feel about, like, A.T. Perry? He's not the player that Brian Thomas Jr. is, but, like, how do you feel about him? You've got Olave, Rashid Shaheed as well, and do you feel like you need I don't want to say a true number 2. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Rashid Shaheed, but I think he means so much in the return game for you. Like if you want to get another number 2 receiver. And then on the other side of it, like you've got Cam Jordan and you've got other edge rushers. You just drafted Isaiah Foskey in the 2nd round. Do you want to develop him? Do you think he can develop anymore? Like Granderson just got paid as well.
I would feel better. Okay, so we answered the commercial break in the room. I answered Dallas Turner. Who did you go with, Jake?
I hadn't decided.
You decided yet? Taylor, who'd you go with?
I would go Dallas Turner. I think it's better for the team. Now, personal preference on what the LSU guy to go to the Saints.
You want the Walker guy.
Yeah, exactly. I want my fellow Walker guy to go to the Saints. But I'd probably go Dallas Turner, lean Dallas Turner.
I think I would probably lean Dallas Turner because of the Saints' needs. Although I think Brian Thomas Jr.
Well, I think it's funny.
Weapon in the NFL that would be a game changer.
Yeah, but so is Turner, right?
That's what I'm saying. Right? Yeah. I think, and the Saints need, if they're looking, like all the things that we hear from the Saints are they want to get more athletic at the position. Because Carl Granderson's great. Yes. Cam Jordan still has something left in the tank, in my opinion. Not the highest level like he has.
And leadership and everything else.
Yes. But they're a different defensive end than Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner is that edge defender. He's what they used to call a third down specialist in the NFL. Now those guys are every down guys. And Isaiah Foskey he couldn't find his way on the field. Just couldn't do it. So I think it's more of a need than Brian Thomas Jr. would be.
As we're talking this out, you crystallized it for me, which is A.T. Perry versus Isaiah Foskey, right? Like,
that's a good point.
You feel infinitely better about what you saw out of Perry in year 1 than you do Foskey.
Yeah.
And granted, is BTJ a big upgrade? Sure, obviously. We mentioned it. Out of 3,000 receivers testing at the combine in the last 40 years, he got 10th from just and that goes along with game tape of 1,200 yards and leading the nation in touchdowns, right? So like you can't go wrong. First off, if you're choosing between Dallas Turner and Brian Thomas Jr., you've already won, I believe, at least.
I think so too.
But yeah, it's the Perry versus Foskey element of it. Like you can get by on receiver better where if you could add a guy who could be a legit game changer and then and pass rusher Jake being that it's the 2nd highest paid position in the NFL. Maybe wide receivers are going to start encroaching on it. I mean everything radiates off the quarterback,
3.
right? Yeah, it's in the top 3.
It goes quarterback, tackle, edge rusher. Tackle, edge rusher might be pretty much the same.
So, and again, what do they all have in common? They all affect the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, it's another one of those positions where rookie contracts become extra attractive. If you get a guy who can be immediately productive and then maybe even blossom into like legit one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, the value of that on a rookie deal is a great foundational team building piece with which you can work. Think about what Trey Hendrickson was doing with the Saints on that rookie deal before he went and got paid and the value you were gaining therein. So yeah, I would go Turner there because, and plus, look, I know he's from Bama, but I like that killer attitude. I like the meanness. I like how the last couple of years
being an a-hole.
Yes.
It's one of the positions that It's acceptable.
And I love the fact that he answered any questions about,
that means it has a term of endearment, by the way.
Was he benefiting off of like Will Anderson taking all the attention? Okay, well, Dallas Turner was the guy this year, and he dominated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go Turner there, but I would not be upset in the slightest if you went BTJ, because then, I mean, bruh, that receiving crew with Alvin Kamara, and if you can figure out the offensive line, which I think Will figured itself out a bit with better scheme and being put in better positions, and all of a sudden, if you look at the last 6 games of the Saints offense, and you had BTJ there and maybe a better scheme, that does become a bit exciting for what maybe the potential of that group could be.
Do you think, okay, so we've talked about Turner. Do you think Jared Verse from Florida State, Leatu Latu from UCLA, like, are those two players, are they what the Saints are looking for?
I mean, that's a more traditional body type, right?
Verse is more of a 4-3 defensive end. I think Latu is actually kind of a 3-4 outside linebacker type.
He's just so big when we talk to him.
Yeah, do you think that they're looking for, like, the spring that Dallas Turner has? Can Verse give you that? Leatu Latu seems like, to me, he would be a guy that is solid at both, not necessarily just one or the other. Maybe the elite at one or the other doesn't come, but he'd be incredibly solid at both stopping the run, getting after the quarterback.
Well, I think Latu falls into the silo of what the Saints normally like to draft at that position, but then they've been out here publicly saying how they want to get faster, which Dallas Turner just ran a 4.47 at 250. Well, that would be the quick twitch faster. So it depends on how serious they are about changing their views in that position, or will Latu fall like that because of the medicals? Will he be available at 14?
Let's see. I'm looking at the big board right now. So Mel Kiper on the big board. Here's how he has the edge rushers that we're talking about. He has Dallas Turner at 11. He has Leatu Latu at 12, and he has Jared Verse at 13.
Okay.
So I mean, they're all just doom. Kind of right there. So it feels like one of them would be available. Darius Robinson from Missouri, who was impressive at the Senior Bowl. I don't think he's in the kind of the mold that you're looking for. He is 6'5", 300 pounds. I mean, a physical freak, not an ounce of fat on this guy's body, but he feels like the true 4-3 defensive end. I can hold point. I can rush the passer. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody that can go out there, can be one of the best athletes on the field, can bend, can really get after the quarterback, and maybe you give up a little bit in the run game because of it.
Well, and it's really hard to have success anywhere as a rookie, but I always like vertical slice of football to serve to a rookie and see what he can do. And if Dallas Turner for this first year is just like, it's third down, get after the quarterback.
See ball, hit ball.
There will absolutely be growing pains in terms of learning to rush against NFL offensive tackles, but that's a pretty attractive vertical slice that you could hand him. Even though, to be fair, at receiver, we see more and more rookie success as well. I mean, they're more polished than they've ever been before.
Yeah, they've come to the game with all the 7-on-7 knowledge of coverages and different things, and college football's completely changed. And that was always the holdup, is trying to identify the coverage. So Dallas Turner, we mentioned like a Robinson who's almost 300 pounds. Dallas Turner, 6'4", 242. Leatu Latu, 6'5", 265. And then Jared Verse is 6'4", 260. Oof. So, I mean, Dallas Turner is definitely the most lean of the group. He's the one that is, okay, this is what he would be. This is who he's going to be. Where the others, you can see some value in doing both. But again, it's important. That's not what the Saints feel like they're looking for right now.
Yeah. So interesting food for thought. Draft hurtling down the tracks. Hey, I do want to remind you, go to Rejuve Me Medical, RejuveMeMedical.com. If you want to feel younger, better, faster, stronger, Rejuve Me's there for you, man. Look, they're in Baton Rouge, Metairie, Slidell, now Shreveport as well. And go in and get your free consultation. Okay, they're going to draw your labs, and your body is going to be the guide for what you need, right? For a custom plan for you to feel better. So if you have like mood and memory problems, facial aging, you're going through andropause, menopause, you got like weight gain that's coming out of nowhere, you're still working out the same, your diet's the same, but you're like what? You're not seeing the returns? These are all the effects of untreated aging. And the experts at Rejuve Me know exactly how to combat them. But it's not a one-size-fits-all plan. Again, it's for you. So maybe it's HRT, maybe it's semaglutide, maybe it's whatever your body needs. Okay, or that's what it is. I should have said maybe there, but I was kind of on a roll. RejuveMeMedical.com. Restore me, refuel me, rejuve me. Did y'all see Johnny Manziel's been out here, and he said that he is boycotting any future Heisman ceremonies until Reggie Bush is reinstated.
Yeah, and I never thought that I would like Johnny Manziel, but here we are.
I like that he's advancing this narrative
Yeah.
because I think, this is not an exaggeration. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic. I don't think there is a single thing dumber in American sports than Reggie Bush having his Heisman taken away. And the reason is very simple. Like, forget about how ridiculous it looks in light of the current marketplace, right? Throw that out the window. Forget about the fact that like almost no one I know finds it morally offensive that Reggie Bush got like $1,000 a month in a house and a car and stuff. Like, nobody really cares. No. How about the simple fact that if you accept Reggie Bush's Heisman theft as just, you are saying that you believe that every other Heisman winner ever never received impermissible benefits.
Right.
There is a level of naivete there that boggles my mind. Again, especially when you have guys like Johnny Manziel who are on record as saying I did all this stuff. But what? Because the NCAA Enforcement Committee never like went after him as hard or got him as hard. They don't take it is absurd to the point of being laughable that this is still an issue. And the craziest thing is, it's honestly the easiest win in the world for the NCAA to just hand it back, and they won't do it.
It's not even. I mean, it is the NCAA, but also the Heisman Trust.
Well, they're copping out. They're saying,
I know.
well, it's because the NCAA got rid of his stats. Like, come on, Heisman Trust, nut up. I agree with you. Like, they need to nut up as well. But they're putting the onus on the NCAA, saying they removed his stats and records from the record book, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, and look, Johnny Manziel's not reinventing the wheel with this take. It's been a take that a lot of us have shouted for a long time because Reggie Bush, for a lot of people my age, and I was playing college football when he was in college football, think that he was generational.
Yeah.
He was completely different than everybody else. He was must-watch TV. Like, we would play games, and then we'd go back home, and we'd watch Reggie Bush highlights to see what he did that night. Like, you had to go see what he did because there was always an ooh and ah play. And so he was the biggest star in L.A. Like, and that's a hard town to be able to have any kind of college fame. It just is. It's a pro sports town. He was the biggest thing there. So, yeah, he took a couple $1,000. Like, Reggie Bush was worth way more than that to the University of Southern California. So it's over. Now we're in a different age. I understand that the rules are the rules, whatever. But come on, let's be smart about this as well.
Again, it's just an easy win, NCAA. No, nobody's going to come after you if you give Reggie Bush their Heisman back. Like, it'll be the one positive headline you've had the last 3 years. Taylor, I can see you grimacing.
No, so I'm totally on board with this. We talked about it the other day, and I was like, Reggie Bush's biggest mistake is that he actually gave it back. I never would have done that.
Yeah,
I would have been like, break into my house and come take it. Otherwise, you're not getting it back. I appreciate what Johnny Manziel is doing. Hopefully, this causes like other stars and other former Heisman Trophy winners to do the same thing because, honestly, this is not a shot at Manziel. Does the Heisman Trust actually care if Johnny Manziel doesn't go to these events? Now, again, if it causes a domino effect where other people do it, then yeah. But, like, I appreciate what he's doing. I'm just wondering, is it going to matter?
Well, no, but I think that Manziel is a pretty good vehicle in this, that even on the Club Shay Shay podcast where they were talking about this, he was saying, like, I did way worse stuff, and I still have a Heisman.
No,
so
for
he
sure.
So he is a great vehicle for pointing out the absurd hypocrisy of the entire ordeal. I'm with you. The Heisman House doesn't care if Manziel's there or not because he's a bit problematic, for sure. But he's the perfect foil for showing just how stupid the NCAA is for all of this. It's absurd. It's absurd. I don't know. And it's such an easy win. It's such an easy win.
And they act like, you know, he's the only one with any controversy around him ever win the Heisman. Somebody in the chat mentioned Cam Newton. I mean, we remember all of his off-the-field stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody has it.
And then remember, like, Baker Mayfield got arrested in the offseason for being drunk in public. Got suspended.
In Athens, don't mess around.
3 feet.
And then he got suspended a game for the crotch grab thing. He still won the Heisman Trophy. Like, is one worse than the other? I would say no.
Do we all think the guys who were the best players in the country didn't get stuff from boosters? What the hell are we talking about here, dude? It's absurd. Again, absurd to the point of being laughable. All right, we got OTB mailbag when we got back. We got Coach Kim Mulkey. Keep it locked here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. Call up Central Plumbing today and get your pipes fixed. By the incredible people over there at Central Plumbing. Licensed, bonded, and insured. You can trust who's coming in your home. They send you bios ahead of time. About who's coming flat rate pricing, so no surprise or hidden fees on the back end out of nowhere like some of those food delivery apps. 50 years of experience, okay? So you're not going to be able to hit them with a problem they don't know how to solve. You know what I'm talking about?
Those food delivery apps hurt you, don't they?
It's crazy, man. I mean, I don't use them a lot because I hate them, and I think food that is not delivered traditionally should not be delivered, right? Like a burger and fries does not hold up well.
Yeah.
It's just pure laziness.
Central Plumbing's not going to be soggy.
No, they won't be soggy. Fresh, hot. They're like a delicious plate of sesame chicken and shrimp fried rice. CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552.
You go to the website, check out what they can do for you in the remodel game. Check out what they can do for you as far as going tankless with the tankless water heater. Call them today, 225-925-8552. Never soggy.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places.
Join Taylor Sharp for a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We'll be reacting to A&M and LSU. How's the Heisman race looking? Saints, Falcons, and much, much more. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
One of the greatest bar songs of all time.
Yeah.
Fever Pitch. Have you ever seen that?
Oh,
yeah, they sing it in the bar.
Pitch Perfect?
What's the one?
They don't sing it in Pitch Perfect.
Nah, I don't think so.
God, what's the
But I
one
just
with
like Pitch
27 Dresses, maybe? Something like that? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Devil
that
Wears
movie.
Prada.
It
13
wasn't
going on
there,
30.
but All great movies.
La Femme Nikita.
You're just naming movies that
Or
you
not
know.
La Femme Nikita.
Yeah.
13 going on 30s. Love is a battlefield.
No, what was Jennifer Gardner in? That was an old spy show. Alias? Was that Jennifer Gardner vehicle
Maybe.
back in the day?
I don't know.
Y'all are definitely
What
too young for
movie
Alias. You don't know about that.
do
Stop.
they
Y'all are
sing?
16. We had this conversation already. Elton John was one of the best concerts I've ever been to.
It was. I've been like
I
4.
wish I saw
I
him.
wish.
27 Dresses. Big rom-com guy right
I
here.
love, like, what is it? Like, always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah.
Is it
T-Bone.
Katherine Heigl?
Yeah, and what's that guy's name? James Marsden?
Yeah.
Word on the Hollywood street. So you never,
That
I
guy got
always,
screwed in like
She's
10
a
straight
bee.
movies,
He
by
did.
the way.
He did.
What?
Every
She's a
movie he was
bee.
in.
Yeah, word on the Hollywood streets after she got all famous from Knocked Up was that she kind of
Yeah, I've heard
maybe
that too.
got a little highfalutin, which I know, you're always going to be a bit wary of trusting that reporting,
Yeah.
but it seemed pretty supported kind of around the block. So
Well,
I don't
it's
know.
one of those things, T-Bob. It's like if multiple people report it, one of them might have it out for her, but they ain't all wrong.
Generally, yes. Generally, you're right.
fair.
Then again, like I've gone through something in my own life where everybody was convinced, thank God for 2019 because it's finally stopped, but everybody was convinced that I started like a revolution before a national championship game. And when I tell, like, it did not
Wait,
happen.
that's not true?
And yet so many people reported it did. So many people believe it
Right.
did. So I've been on the other side of that. It's a weird feeling. But yeah, the Hagel's reputation for whatever reason does kind of
Also, Jennifer Garner, it was Alias.
There we go. Thought so.
I thought you were going to talk about you slinging meat and not the national
No,
championship game.
no.
That's
That
another
one's-
one.
That one is more though in the pure rumor category. Like nobody really believes that too much. No, I am not running the T-Bot account either, Bilbo. That is not me. I don't know who T-Bot is. I do find it actually to be very funny. And he is oddly in tune with my brain. Whoever runs the T-Bot account. But nah, bro, I don't got time to make all those jokes. Whoever it is does like a lot of work and like photoshops the jokes and everything. I mean, they put that time into it.
So I posted that poll question on our Twitter page.
Yep.
If you want to go weigh in, 1045
Okay,
ESPN
hell yeah.
on Twitter. 60% of people so far say they'd rather Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay.
There's a funny comment. BT would just be another weapon for Carr to put in jail or mental hospital.
Yeah, I mean that we didn't say it, but there is that element of it. Or like,
That's true. Should we
is
wish that
investing
upon
in
our
Derek
boy?
Carr? Yeah, do you want to wish that upon your boy? And is investing in Derek Carr the best path forward, or trying to continue with the strength, strengthening the strength of the team, which is the defense? All right, time for a little OTB mailbag.
Special delivery! I have this special delivery for off the bench. And look, it is marked most urgent.
We'll be writing to you.
The internet. What the is the internet?
God, what a line. Every week. Hashtag OTB mailbag. What are y'all eating for lunch today? I don't know about today, but yesterday I had one of my favorite lunches ever when I got back from carpool. And by the way, I apologize to everybody who's honking me in the carpool line multiple times yesterday. I could not stay awake.
Bruh.
But
Is this the second time?
well, I fell
More
asleep
than two.
twice yesterday at points where people started honking at me very madly. But I love with a burning passion cold leftover spaghetti straight out the fridge. Woo! Also, I've been buying like fresh noodles from Canatellas.
T-Bob buying nudes.
Buying
confirmed.
fresh nudes is
Buying
not,
Let's
be careful
the way
with
I
that
would
one.
put that,
I've
actually.
been buying fresh noodles, and they're so damn good, dude. So I had cold spaghetti yesterday. I don't know about today.
I'm going to Fresh Market today. I'm going to probably grab something there and eat
Okay.
there.
Just a
So
little
that's the
salmon.
plan.
Little thammy tham.
Cheeseburger.
Hell yeah.
I don't know
Always good.
where. I don't know where from yet.
I still got to get out to Bubba's one day, dude.
Say, Bo.
Yeah. Let me know.
No
Lunch?
idea.
Yeah.
Depends on what I'm feeling after the gym.
Ask the bench.
OTB mailbag.
What did I say?
Ask the bench.
No, it's called a Freudian slip, guys.
Yeah.
Has to go to mailbag. Do you like
I don't
absinthe?
think that's a
It is because I'm exposing the.
what you're really thinking.
Well, no,
like
I'm
you're really
exposing
thinking
that
about.
they're the exact same thing.
The exact
we
same
killed
thing.
two
Got you,
segments
got
with
you,
them,
got you.
but I spoke the unspoken truth that
Yeah.
they're the same thing.
Okay.
Has to go to mailbag. Do you like absinthe?
Never had it.
I've never had it, but I'm very interested
It's
in tasting
whatever,
it.
dude. It's over. It's just alcohol.
You don't really hallucinate?
Nah, I mean, I think maybe back in the day because there may be like other things in there, but no, it's just alcohol
All
from
right.
all the absinthe I've
And I
had.
don't really care for it.
It doesn't taste very good
Yeah.
either.
I don't even know what that is.
Hashtag go to mailbag. Is there a sadder feeling than dropping your kid off at daycare and watching them cry as you leave? Yeah. You'll get over that, young grasshopper. Don't worry.
Yeah, the first couple times, maybe your oldest, but they know that it gets to you.
You're
like, hey, I know that play.
That's what I'm gonna say. That's the first and I hate to be the like, oh, but that is it's early on. It hurts at first, for sure. I feel that. Hashtag go to mailbag. Favorite style of fried chicken. This may be a bit controversial. I like a lot of breading. I like a lot of fried breading.
I guess I'm just
to munch
confused
on.
by like style
Yeah,
of fried chicken. Like, where do I get it from?
Yeah, I don't fully understand the question either, but
I
that's
thought-
my interpretation of it. Is that like some people maybe like a lighter breading, a heavier breading? Do you like a fried chicken breast? Do you want it on the bone? I don't know. I
me a
would say
thigh.
give me a dark meat thigh
Yeah.
with a lot of breading.
Yeah.
I like a dark meat leg.
All right, I'll go chicken breast then.
Love a leg.
Who's surprised?
Yeah.
White bread.
I mean, and there are styles like, what is it, chicken koryagi? If you go to like,
Oh yeah, those are good.
like all of
yeah.
these is just delicious, like flash fried, like dark meat. Incredible. Hashtag go to mailbag. If you think Bush should get his Heisman back, should USC also get their title back? I think absolutely they should get the wins and the title back. I think maybe that becomes a bit more problematic because then everybody starts complaining about wanting their vacated wins back. But
SMU and
vacated wins are dumb as hell anyway.
yeah.
But yeah, I would have no problem personally doing it.
LSU's had to give up wins.
Really?
Yeah, during the was it Vidal Alexander playing? Yeah, so it was like what 2013?
Yeah, something like that.
That's so freaking dumb, dude. Ask the bench, is a half or a quarter of a weed gummy better than a drink before bed? I think the science on this is that actually both are not that good for sleep, but I kind of like both. So I don't know. I don't think I'm a good person to answer this.
Sure. What T-Bob said.
Do you ever have a little whiskey to put you in a little sleepy mood?
No, you know me. I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
I'm just not overall, not a huge drinker. But I mean, it certainly would do that. Like if that's what I'm going
I think both
for.
can kind of mess with your REM sleep, is what I've heard. Yeah. Though I know a lot of people, and myself included, who at one time or another have loved some like sleepy time gummies. So there's that. I don't know. I just don't like melatonin because it makes me dream insane dreams.
Crazy, right?
About being full?
And they're they're just so. I wake up. No, I got it. But I just wake up not rested because I'm scared.
Yeah. No, I would take melatonin and it would give me some insane dreams,
It gives-
like sleep paralysis dreams. Like
Jackson, my oldest, he's a giant. He's bigger than I am, so it's not like his size. But like if he takes any melatonin, like he has a massive headache the next day. So he doesn't mess with it at all. Yeah,
I don't mess with it. Hashtag goes to be about. Do you like Korean barbecue?
Love it.
I've never had
barbecue.
Korean barbecue sauce alone.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
love
I'm saying.
Korean
I've never
wings
had
too.
it,
Oof.
but yeah, when you get the wing with the Korean sauce, I love. That's
There's
my favorite at
actual,
Wingstop.
Yeah, going to like an actual Korean barbecue place is a lot of fun too. We used to make it all the time with a little at home, make little seaweed wraps, a little what do we put on it? You got your avocado, you got some eggs, you got some rice, and then you got whatever protein you want. You just wrap that up, maybe a little sriracha. Ooh. So good. All right, when we get back, Coach Kim Mulkey, keep it locked, OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I agree with Razor. My favorite style of fried chicken is in my mouth. Agreed. You cannot go wrong with fried chicken. You cannot go wrong with Coleman Roofing and Construction. Okay, the most complete, reliable, and respected roofing company in all of Louisiana for any project, y'all. It doesn't matter the type of roof that you're installing. It doesn't matter the size of the project, be it just your home or a giant commercial project. It doesn't matter where it is in Louisiana or the entire Gulf South region. They do it all, and it's not just roofs, it's your interiors as well. So you got a leak, you got drywall damage, insulation, whatever the case would be, a tree fell on your business, on your house, whatever it is, guys. Coleman Roofing and Construction does it all. Check them out today, colemanroof.com.
Last night we had crazy rain. I don't know if y'all had it, but we certainly had it at our house, and it lasted all night long. And so if you notice that you have a leak and maybe even damage your floor, remember, one-stop shop. They can fix both of those issues. Go to the website to find that number today, colemanroof.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. The LSU football Tigers are on the practice field kicking off spring. We'll have your update. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. OTB. It is Tuesday at 8:30, and that's a favorite part of every week because we get to talk to the legend herself, head coach Kim Mulkey, fresh off and closing off this regular season, an 8-game winning streak. Got a lot that I want to talk to her about today. Coach, what's going on? How are we feeling this morning?
We're good. It's an off day. When you don't have to work, you relax, right?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Coach, before we get into the basketball itself, I feel that you had a very interesting answer in your post game on Sunday, and it was we were kind of discussing just how unprecedented the fan support, the environment you've been playing in, both at home and away, have been this year. And I thought you had a very interesting answer talking about, when you have these young women who are talented, entertaining, accessible, they have personality, right? You basically said if you're beautiful, you're talented, and then you have toughness, that becomes very kind of intriguing to people. And I couldn't help but think, Coach, that you're kind of the perfect example of that. Do you feel like are you in that mix as well? Are you a good example of what these young women can be in terms of being themselves and not being kind of cowed by the general public what they want them to be?
Well, I think I've always thought this. A team is a reflection of their coach. If you see a passive coach, the team's usually going to be passive. If you see an aggressive coach, an intense coach, those teams play that way. Now, personality-wise, I can't change your personality, but what I hope when you let me coach you, you see this woman wants you to be something you don't even think you're capable of being, and that is just somebody who competes like crazy, somebody who just can't stand to lose, and you can do it in such a way that when you do lose, people leave that arena and go, I know we lost, and I'm disappointed we lost, but man, we played our rear ends off. And that's what I hope when my career's over is people recognize that, man, those kids get after it.
And Coach, I know we talk about social media a lot on here and some of the negative drawbacks, but in terms of growing the game, right? You foster this environment where you like you just kind of alluded to, you promote these players fully leaning in to who they are, and it's okay to be big and flashy and loud and assertive. Do you feel that one of the positives of social media has maybe been kind of growing the game by showcasing players like Haley and Flage and Van Lith and others?
Well, there's a line that I'm never going to let them cross. First of all, you better remember you represent your family, you represent this program, and you represent LSU. And I don't follow their social media stuff, but I have people on staff who do. And if there is something that is not good, I'm going to ask you to take it down. So they need to understand, be you, be fun, be happy, be beautiful, speak your mind, but don't cross that line. And I think without giving details, people know you don't want vulgarity. You don't want to be political. You don't want to be religious. You can be you and bring excitement and bring attention and make sure that it's all positive. I can't control what a lot of them background, what their backgrounds are, but what I can tell them is you feel how you feel, but make sure that that's attractive to people who go, wow, I want to go watch them play now because they just said something that's so powerful for my little girl or my little boy. It's so funny to me, guys, to watch grown men dress up in sequins. It is so powerful for me. Flage did a reverse layup, which was crazy move, and I see the playback because someone sends it to me, and they don't say, look at this move Flage made. What they say is, look at that grown man in the stands go crazy after she did that move. See, we're attracting people outside of little girls and outside of women. You're attracting everybody, and a lot of that just has to do with how hard we play and their personalities.
Yeah, the play on the court certainly, Coach, over this last couple of years, but certainly in this 8-game stretch that you're on right now, you've won 8 straight, including road victories against good teams like Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Like, where would you put this? Because you've had longer winning streaks in this season, but this feels like maybe the best that the team is kind of coming together. Everyone's figured out their identity on this basketball team. Where would you put the state of the team right now heading into the SEC tournament?
If you're ever around me for a long period of time, my kids will tell you, my family, my friends, I always make a statement. Timing is everything in life. Timing is everything in life. When you get married, when you take your next job, and a lot of other things. I think the timing of our play right now with the win streak, which really doesn't matter to me. I'll tell you the streak that matters to me is the last 8 or 9 games in a row, we've held our opponent to 39.9% shooting from the field, which was big for this team to continue to grow defensively. The timing of when we're doing it just brings us to a confidence level that we need. Michaela Williams was in a boot last game. That was precautionary. I've gone into the playoffs when Alexis Morris got hurt my first year, and it really was costly. I don't want to take any chance that if your foot is aching, if your foot is hurt, I don't want you getting stepped on, because that game against Kentucky, and honestly, the 3 games in the SEC tournament don't mean squat. Yep. It's when those announcements are made and we have an opportunity to host here the weekend of the 21st. That's what matters.
So right now, being projected as a 2 seed, are you happy with that? Do you feel like y'all have done enough here already?
Well, that's Charlie Cream's opinion, and I don't know who died and left him in charge of predictions. You know how is it Joe Lunardi in basketball, and who are all the gurus in football? Those are strictly their opinions. They have absolutely nothing to do with what the NCAA selection committee does. But I guess we're glad that we have people that enjoy and are interested in our sport. 2 seed, 3 seed, 1 seed, it doesn't matter. I've been fortunate to win national championships at all those 3 seeds. I just want to remain a top 4 seed so LSU people can be rewarded and we play our first and second round games at home.
So, Coach, you mentioned in the last 9 games holding opponents under 39%. If you just zoom in on the 8-game winning streak, no opponent has shot better than 37.5. So the average is even a bit lower than that. Has there been anything like a functional adjustment on the court, schematic? Like what's been the key behind this late season defensive growth?
I think it's just being around each other. I'm going to use this analogy. When you first start dating a good-looking girl and you think, man, this is the one I'm going to marry. Mm-hmm. And then after 2 weeks, you're like, I can't live with that. But then you find that next good-looking girl, and, man, you just keep dating her, and you're just attracted to her, and you just like being with her, and you're around her all the time. You start thinking alike. And that's what you do in basketball and in any sport. It's the longer you're around each other, you start realizing each other's strengths and weaknesses and what they like and what you like, and it just starts flowing. And we've just worked at it extremely hard because we knew that Van Lith was probably going to only be here a year. We knew that Michaela Williams was going to have to play as a freshman. You just got to be around each other on the court, and you got to work together to all be on the same page. And only time helps that. That's it. You can't rush it. Only time.
So Coach, what happens if you're 2 weeks into a basketball relationship and you have that feeling? What do?
You go, where's my recruiting coordinator? You brought me the wrong players.
You got to ask him a couple questions, right?
Oh, man. Coach, this Friday, 5 p.m. Oh, by the way, hold on. Sorry, we got the send-off Wednesday at 12:45 outside the PMAC, correct? So if you want to go, and I know so many of y'all packed out the PMAC this Sunday. It was an incredible environment. If you want to go send this team off to the SEC tournament Wednesday at 12:45, be outside the PMAC. It's going to be a ton of fun. The SEC postseason awards come out today at 11. Expect to see some LSU names on that list as well. And you already answered it, Coach. So going to be very careful with Michaela going into this thing and just try to, what's the main goal for the SEC tournament? Just try to retain the form that you've shown the past 8 games?
Well, my first year, we didn't win a game at the SEC tournament. My second year, which was last year, we won 1 game. Let's see if we can win 2 games. And if you win 2 games, you're playing in the SEC championship. That would be a lot of fun.
There we go. Beautiful, talented, Tough. BU. That is this LSU basketball team. They are the absolute best. Cannot wait. March Madness is here. Coach Mulkey, thank you so much for another Tuesday.
Guys, y'all have a good one.
Thanks,
you
Coach.
too. You as well. Legend.
They get to the SEC title game, and when you look at it, they're playing the winner of Arkansas and Auburn. Now, Auburn's beating them this year, and then gave
I don't
them
want to see Auburn
and gave them a tough battle in the second one. LSU wins that one, but if you win that, then you're likely going to play either Vanderbilt or Ole Miss. But as we know, if you get to the title game, you have a rematch with South Carolina in all likelihood.
That feels like, it's almost like at that point, though, like, that's not the one you want to win, right?
Right.
I mean, you want to, but, like,
Yeah.
I'm with Coach Mulkey. Like, she even said it in Sunday's postgame, like, I guess we played this tournament for the money? Yeah. She's like, Cinderellas don't really happen in women's basketball that much, so.
You had Kentucky win it a couple of years ago, and that was certainly not something that was expected. But, yes, you can tell the way she views this tournament is we do it because it gives us more games, more revenue, but there's really no purpose in winning it. We want to win the national championship, and they did it last year as a 3 seed.
Yeah.
And so they're about, they could lose a game, drop to the 3 line, and Mulkey's not going to be worried about it because they made a run as the same seed a year ago.
What's the LeBron meme where he has like the cigarette and the do-rag on, and he's like 2 seed, 3 seed? That was
That's
Coach Mulkey.
exactly what I was
like
in my head
2,
when
3
he said
seed, 3 seed, 4 seed. That don't matter.
He's supposed to be top 4.
Just square up.
So they can get home games.
Let's just square up and solve this on the court. Like women. Hell yeah. All right, when we get back, let's close out hour 2 of OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Get Gordon and get it done today. 225-888-8888. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys, there for you when you need them. We'll stand up to the big insurance companies. Make sure that you get what you deserve. So if you get in an accident, you already know who to call. And I would say follow them on social media at GetGordon. Go to getgordon.com. But at GetGordon, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, there's just a ton of great stuff on there, like tips and tricks on how to navigate life, but also what to do when you get in an accident to protect yourself, and a lot of content with your favorite athletes, the entire women's team, members of the G team. So get Gordon, get it done today.
Go to the website, getgordon.com, and you can see all the things we talk about all the time, like what they can handle for you in the courtroom, past client results. All that's going to be there. Free consultation. Set it up on the website. Have a conversation with them on the website. Also, at GetGordon is always going to be that handle, like T-Bob said, on all major social media. See what they're doing in the community as well. And you can always pick up the phone, your area code in Louisiana, followed by 888-8888. Get Gordon and get it done.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $17,500 off new 23 1500 Bighorn trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $17,500 off new Ram 1500 trucks. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like Vans.
Join us for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch from Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Andy Esco joins us from Las Vegas, and we do first class, second class, and no class. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5.
Football so much and what it's meant to him in his life.
I've been asked many times, why did I choose football? What drew me to the game? And I never have an answer that gets it right. The best way I can explain it is what draws you to your favorite song, your favorite book. It's what it makes you feel. The seriousness of it, the intensity of it. Stepping on the field was the most alive and free I had ever felt. There was a visceral feeling with football unlike any other sport. The hairs on my arms would stand up. I could hit somebody, run around like a crazed lunatic, and then get told, good job. I loved football. Whether it was in my backyard with my brother, on the playground with my friends, or suiting up on Friday nights at Cleveland Heights High School. I loved everything about it.
I now have the hair on my arms standing up. That's a warrior poet right there. And then how long is this one? Is this one too long to play here?
Yeah, we don't have time for it.
Okay, we can revisit the other one, Jake. But, I mean, I hear that, and I just love him comparing it to, like he said, your favorite book, your favorite song, your favorite movie, whatever it may be, these traditionally more artistic avenues that we think about gaining fulfillment from, he got from a sport. And if you've experienced that in any facet in life, you know it's something special that you have to hold on to and ideally maximize what you get out of it. And Jason Kelce did that.
Yeah, and it's always a different feeling for everyone once they know that it's over, once they decide that it is over. But I can say almost in absolutes, like you can tell when somebody steps away, the thing that they're going to miss is every day going to work, in the locker room, camaraderie, going for the common goal, working so hard to get to that one goal that all 32 teams are working towards. And you can tell, like, that's how he's feeling. That's how I felt. How you felt. How everybody feels when they step away from the game that they've worked so hard to be a high-level player at.
Yeah, and so we'll get to his comments on the locker room because, again, I think he was very eloquent, and it was one of my favorite quotes. But it's a bit longer. It's 2 minutes, so we'll get to that next hour. I did love seeing the reaction of the Swifties yesterday, though. The Swifties are inherently an empathetic people. They feel deeply, and it was so funny seeing all these tweets from Taylor Swift fans who describe having tears in their eyes because Taylor gave Travis a chance, and here they are crying about Jason Kelce's retirement. There's something wonderful about that. I'm not even being sarcastic. I appreciate when people can empathize and feel, despite not fully understanding all the context. You don't need to know the context to see a man that is up there expressing vulnerable and real love. And I thought that was just simply fantastic yesterday. Nick Underhill kicking off hour 3. Ton more to get to. Keep it locked, OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
K to Z window coverings, KTOZblinds.com is the website. If you want to take your home to the next level, be it a starter home, the home of your dreams, all price points are welcome at K to Z. Get Brandon Barton out to your home and take advantage of the decades of experience that Brandon is bringing to bear. You don't even fully understand just how much the right window coverings can affect how your home operates, like functionally. It's not just aesthetics. So whether it's like an outdoor living space, you're trying to control the temperature more, just the lighting in the room, a man cave, theater room, baby room, bedroom, whatever, K to Z is your answer. K2ZBlinds.com.
As I told you yesterday, we got a Roman shade for our kitchen. I mean, this thing, it's custom, right? It is a custom shade. And Brandon came to the house. It took like 5 minutes. The thing is already in. I mean, the service, how quickly they get things done, the way they know your space, it's just not comparable to anybody else. K2ZBlinds.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
In Baton Rouge.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Tuesday, March 5th. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect rainy skies with a high of 77. In hour 3 of today's show, we'll be joined by Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football at 9 a.m. Then we'll continue our talk about college football, and we'll discuss the retirement of Jason Kelce. If you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch them in the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. You can also follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. And watch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. OTB. It's Tuesday. which means 9 a.m. we kick it off with Nick Underhill from New Orleans Football. New Orleans Football is the site. Been a very happy subscriber for multiple years now. You should check it out as well, New Orleans Football. Nick, what's going on, man? How we feeling today?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty well. Okay, let's dive right into it. We had a hypothetical that we played with in hour number 1. I want to see where you land on it, Nick. Let's say when the Saints pick, I don't think this will be the case, but it could be. Let's say that Dallas Turner and Brian Thomas Jr. are both available. Where would you go if you were the New Orleans Saints?
Oh, Dallas Turner, easy. No doubt about it. I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, I think that's exactly what they need. And look, I think the best possible outcome, if you could just see into the future and you knew that you could get Dallas Turner at 14, I mean, then that frees up what you're doing in free agency, and you don't got to spend the big money on one of the highest positional values there. I mean, you just kind of look at where they're at those two positions too. I mean, they got Olave and Shaheed, like in A.T. Perry, like theoretically you could be fine with that group of players, but if you go into the season with Carl Granderson, Cam Jordan, where he's at, and, Peyton Turner is a maybe, Tano Passanio, I think you're in serious trouble at defensive end if you don't get that other player. So if you can add the young guy to that position, I think it solves all your problems. And I think Dallas Turner is kind of exactly the type of player that they kind of need at that spot. I mean, the problem is he just ran 4.46 and jumped out of the Lucas Oil Stadium. So I mean, I don't think he's going to be there at 14. So I think that's probably something that's not going to happen. They probably have to move up if they want to try to get him. But I think that just where this team's at, the need is significantly higher at defensive end.
Okay, so Nick, if it's not Dallas Turner, is there another edge rusher that fits that mold? Because we look at some of the other players, they're a different size. Dallas Turner is in that 240, 245-pound range. He has the 4.4 speed. Like Jared Verse and Latu and other players obviously are good players, but do they fit what the Saints are looking for to get more athletic at the position?
Yeah, I like Verse. I mean, he's somebody that I think could be a solid fit there in the same mold. I mean, maybe he's potentially there. Like ESPN's last mock, I think he went like 15, and this was pre-combine. So, I mean, this stuff always changes as people kind of catch up on different stuff. But, yeah, I mean, look, I think the interesting thing, and one of the things we've been hearing is that they kind of want to change. I wouldn't say change the prototype, but they want to get somebody that's would typically have been probably considered an exception in previous years to their prototypes, where they're a little bit smaller. And, I think that's been a huge problem for them. And one of the reasons why they haven't been able to stop some of these quarterbacks that can run now, like, I think the game changed on them a little bit, and they kind of kept sticking with, what worked against the pocket patch of the guys that, typically didn't get out and extend plays or run. And, you're trying to keep them, you approach them a different way, but you get more athletic quarterbacks. I mean, it's just common sense. You need more athletic defensive players to chase them down, and I don't think that they went that direction. So it's something that I think that they're looking to try to do. And, their prototypes, like they should be staying on point with what the league's kind of doing, because the way they set them is they just take the average of the starters around the league. So it would be the average of all the left defensive ends, and then the average of all the right defensive ends, and then they set like a minimum requirement that's a little bit lower than it. But, I think they want to lower that even a little bit more so that they can get some of these smaller, faster guys. And Foskey was supposed to fit that last year, and then he just kind of really never got on the field, was injured, and then just didn't develop quick enough really to be a impact player in year one. Maybe he can still help there, but yeah, it's definitely their point of view on what they want out of that position, I think, has changed, and it's more athleticism, maybe less priority on run defense, and just making sure they got somebody that can go out there on third down and chase down a quarterback if they need to.
Nick, let's dive into Marshawn Lattimore. So ever since they redid that contract, or basically the money would potentially go with him if he was to end up on another team, the door was open for a trade, right? And the rumors appear to be gaining steam. So I want to talk about price point. At what point does a deal become attractive enough to maybe move on from Lattimore? And I think the other day we played this, what did we say, like maybe a second rounder? But then you look at what Jalen Ramsey got, and I don't even know that a second rounder is in play. Where do you – well, actually, yeah, let's start there. Where do you think kind of potential tipping point would be reached for the Saints?
Yeah, the reporting on that story kind of got really weird this week. I mean, it's like something that's been out there for a while. Like they announced it to the league when they did the contract that he was available for trade, and then it just kind of seemed like everybody caught up this week. There was one on ESPN that like it was like his salary is $1.2 million. It makes him attractive to the league. Well, yeah, I mean like kinda, but like because it's an option bonus, it's $15 million, which I think still makes him incredibly attractive to the league because he's a great player, and $15 million is a discount for a top 5, 10 cornerback, wherever you want to rank him. Like that is a discount, but yeah, it's $15 million if he gets traded because it is the option bonus. The same thing they did with Aaron Rodgers when they traded him to the Jets. They did option bonus to kind of make sure that money traveled when they traded him, and they gave him the flexibility to work the cap, whatever. But yeah, so I mean, what does he get traded for? If it's, I think that there needs to be like a fundamental understanding of like the situation with the Saints. Like if they're trading him before the draft, then all that money hit because you can't do the June 1st deal. So like it needs to go to June 1st so that they can split up their future, the commitments that they have on their future books. Because if you trade them, it accelerates. So if they do it before June 1st, which, would be draft, that would be the time to do it so you get a pick. That compensation is going to have to be significantly higher because you're talking about a team with no cap space taking on additional cap. So that price for the Saints, like they're going to have to be convinced at that point to trade him. Like you need to make a case. Like you got to kind of got to take him from them at that point because they would be paying to get rid of him. And then what are you paying for? You need to be paying for a first round pick probably to make that happen. So if you want Marshawn Lattimore and you want him, this season and you want to use your draft capital, I think that you have to pay a little bit more to do that. Now, after June 1st, I think it goes down a little bit because they can split it up and then it becomes a different conversation and the Saints aren't being penalized then for trading him at that point. So I think at that point, maybe it's a player for player swap or it's a third round pick, something like that. I think at that point you're willing to do it for a little bit less. But you mentioned Ramsey. I think that is a decent comp. The second time he got traded was a third round pick, right?
Yeah.
I believe. I mean, I think that's probably comparable. I do think if you watch these guys play, though, at that point when Ramsey got traded, like some of the man coverage skills had deteriorated a little bit more than I think Lattimore's, and you could see him kind of sitting on routes and trying to jump more stuff and kind of cheating a little bit. And I don't know if like people are quite honest about I think Lattimore does some of that too, but not to the same extent. Like if you're really like going through and watching it, like there are times where it's like the way he played something in 2018 is different than how he's playing it now. And I think there is kind of like a little bit of that compensation for, a guy being 28 and, not having the same exact ability to just kind of roll out there and do it. Like you kind of gotta compensate for a loss of a step or whatever. Like, and I think you can see that a little bit, but it's not as pronounced as it was with Ramsey, but I think that is probably the comp. The other thing too is like there was a story about him being like the over the cap did the story and they said 5th round pick. Like if this dude gets traded for a 5th round pick, like everybody should get fired. Like that would be the dumbest thing in the world. Like you can't trade Lattimore for a 5th. And the other thing is it's not a cap situation. Like they aren't getting rid of him because it's a cap thing. Like they're trying to save money. No, there's like frustration interpersonally between player and team and player. And, that stuff can always get resolved. And there's a possibility that still happens. Like this gets all settled and there isn't a trade and everybody buys back in and they keep it going. Like that's also a possibility. And kind of, today you asked me to throw down a bet, like, and obviously like things can change. I'm not saying like one way or the other. I'm not tipping anything here. Like just based on the latest information coming back from the combine, kind of talking to everybody in the like. My bet on it right now is that there isn't a trade. Like I don't think it's etched in stone. Like I think there's a possibility of this thing getting fixed. So I think that's still on the table as well.
All right, so we're talking a lot of different positions. We're talking about Marshawn Lattimore, maybe if you did trade him, what you would get back. So I look at some of the needs of this team, and edge rusher and getting more athletic at the position, I do agree there, but it's hard for me to get past the offensive line when you were bad a year ago and you've got 2 starters who are free agents. And so what do you think, Nick, the plan is for that position group? Do you see more veteran players coming in the offensive line? Do you think that at 14, if Dallas Turner or somebody like that's not there, they have to go offensive line? How do you fix that issue?
it's such a problem, like with their limited resources, like the lack of picks and everything, and the lack of money. It's so hard to kind of see how they're going to check all their boxes, because like, and there's multiple ways to look at this offensive line. You can look at it and think that like, hey, like if Ruiz is a little bit better, then tightens up and Ramchek's healthy, and it's like, oh, maybe it can work out. But like, I think you got to look at it through like the absolute most pessimistic lens, because. And I'm not saying anything slick about the quarterback here. Like, I just think before, like when it was Breeze, like you were able to look at stuff and say, like, yeah, like this maybe stuff will work out. Like, I think anything that's a maybe now on offense, you have to plan for the worst case scenario, because you don't have one of the 5-10 best quarterbacks to ever play the game anymore. So, like, I'm looking at it like the only sure thing is Eric McCoy, and like everything else needs to be improved and get better. And I think bang for the buck, like you can buy your guards in free agency and it's a little bit cheaper, and that's probably a better use of resources. And if you could go into the draft and it's like, no matter what happens, we got to get one of these 2 edge rushers. And if you got to package some picks to do it, like you do it. And I absolutely hate that though, because then you're a year from now, and again, it's limited resources, and how do you address everything, and limited cap. And it's just like a never ending cycle of like resource chasing. And that's how you end up talking yourself into like, well, maybe we should trade Lattimore, like, because you need more picks, and he's 28 in 2 years, like he's not going to be here. And it's just kind of like, I think that's how you end up in these situations where you're kind of like, making compromises to get, all the things you need. And I just don't know that you ever kind of get into the place that you want to be in when you're doing that. So the best way to do it for me, like if you give me the perfect world, like I'm getting my guards in free agency. Somehow I'm getting a pass rusher at 14. And then the O-line depth, I think, is, and especially offensive tackle depth, is deep enough that you might be able to nab somebody at 45 that, maybe doesn't start right away, but you can develop them and you kind of get your swing guy. And maybe you bring back Pete for, I don't know, 11, 12 million a season. I don't know what the price is for him at this point. He did play some tackle last year, and I think he was 5.5 last year. So maybe that adds some value, but like around $10 million or something. Like I would be cool bringing Pete back as a stopgap, and waiting to see what happens with Saldivari and Penning, and maybe one of those 2 things hit positive, and you're in a little bit more of a position of strength. But like I don't know that they have the resources to go through this and address everything they need to do and be in like this absolute position of strength. And then now you're talking like they're down a safety, like, and that isn't an immediate need because you got Howden there, but that's another spot you need somebody. And if you get rid of Lattimore, like, okay, now Paulson Adebo's in the last year of his contract. Are you paying him? And if not, like, now you're in a spot where you're in, you're exposed at another high value position. So it's a tough way to go, man. Like the best thing they could do here is you got to keep Lattimore. I think you got to hope that you can get your pass rusher at 14. Because, I just don't think they have the money to go out and pay somebody that makes an immediate difference, and they need somebody that makes an immediate difference.
Talking to Nick Underhill from New Orleans.football right now. Go check out the site. Go sign up. It's a great way to stay up to date with everything that's going on with the New Orleans Saints. Video, articles, they got it all right there. Combine takeaways, Nick? Any insight gained from Indy?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a few things. Okay, like I think they feel really, really great. Like I'm just talking team specific here, not draft specific. I think they feel really, really good about the offensive staff and where they're at and what they're going to be able to do with that. One of the things I heard was that Alvin came in and kind of met with the new staff, and I think that was maybe like the most important thing that has happened recently, because the frustration there wasn't it. It was obvious. It was stated. It was repeated. It was on display after every game. He was just kind of airing it out a little bit, and I think him being bought in is a big thing for this team. And look, it just not just on the field. I think he's somebody that kind of is the drumbeat for younger players. Like he's a guy people coming in the league looked up to, thought was cool, like all that stuff. So I think how he goes is kind of how the locker room goes a little bit. So I think that was very, very significant. So yeah, I mean, look, it's just this lack of resources, and they're aware of it too. And it's interesting because they're kind of talking about wanting to take like a more measured approach this off season and kind of trying to get into a place where their cap's a little bit cleaned up and all that stuff. And it's so fascinating to me because you kind of look at it, as we sit here and talk, like we're probably all thinking like, they got to be good immediately. Otherwise there's going to be major changes. And there's kind of like a sense of, the immediate is extremely important, but they're also having like marrying that with like a longer term view as well. And it just kind of, it's hard for me to see the longer term view on this situation because it feels like it should be do it or there's changes. And I don't know if that's the thought process. So I'm just kind of fascinated overall where the team's at. And that's kind of, my biggest takeaway from the combine is that like, I'm a little bit confused about how everything's going to come together. And I think it's a fascinating offseason because, you got that and then you got all these needs and I just don't know how it all gets done. And I don't know. Like, I just don't know what the path is. And look, if you trade Lattimore too, like that's not a right now move. Like they need to be better right now. It feels like, and if you trade Lattimore, that's not marrying up with like this sense of urgency that I think should exist. So I don't know where it's going. So that's kind of the biggest takeaway from the combine for me.
Yeah. I think it's a great point, right? There's a lot of friction created by win this year or you're out, but maybe these moves are better for the long-term health of the franchise. So fascinating crossroads the New Orleans Saints kind of find themselves at currently. New Orleans on football site, Nick_Underhill on Twitter. Nick, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
All right, take it easy, brother. All right, when we get back here on OTB, I still want to get some of the Jason Kelce sound real quick. We should touch on the NCAA getting just continuing to just get owned in the courtroom. Not going to hang on it long. And then, what's the old saying? Like, misery loves company, or sometimes you can make yourself feel better by comparing yourself to somebody else who's in a worse spot. Just be happy that you are not the Denver Broncos. We'll get to it all here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Look, here on Off the Bench, you already know that what gives me so much joy doing this job is partnering with local businesses that do things the right way and that I can sit here and tell you to use and feel fully confident in doing so. And maybe nobody epitomizes that better than Pinnacle Exterior Construction. And look, this could be anything, right? Pergolas, bulkheads, outdoor kitchens. They built hundreds of them, fences, whatever. But I want to talk to you about the pools, okay? Pool season is right around the corner. And right now, you get a spec pool from Pinnacle. It's crazy, Jake. You have these sort of silos in which you choose your options, what styles, what kind of details you want. And I'm talking 2 weeks, y'all. In 2 weeks, you will have a beautiful, brand new, fully functioning pool in your backyard. Just go to PECbuilt.com, a Louisiana company with Louisiana values. That's PECbuilt.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to
Join Taylor Sharp for a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We'll be reacting to A&M and LSU. How's the Heisman race looking? Saints, Falcons, and much, much more. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5.
About Derek Carr, Mickey Loomis, and everything else. Just remember, you did not engage in what I believe is objectively the worst trade in NFL history. And that's the only reason why I bring up Russell Wilson today, is because it transcends local and national in just how deeply fascinating how bad this trade has ended up being is, Jake. And trigger warning for all the NFL old heads out there that grinded for, 7-8 years, few $100,000 a year, because what Russell Wilson earned is going to upset you. Russell Wilson cut by the Denver Broncos yesterday. First off, $85 million cap hit for 2024 in dead money. Again, what's the cap right now? 230? I haven't even looked it up. 230? Bruh. That's closing. I mean, that's over 33%. Over a third of your cap being given to one player who will now no longer even be on the team, can offer you no value whatsoever. When it's all said and done in his time in Denver, Jake, he won 11 games to make $124 million. For context, Denver paid 3 times more per win. So they basically paid Russ $11 million a win than San Francisco is paying for Brock Purdy's entire 4-year deal, which is $4 million. You gave up 5 picks and 3 players for Russell Wilson, including 2 first-round picks. This has to be the worst trade of all time. And on the flip side, if you're a Seattle fan, you need to give it up for Pete Carroll and your front office for hoodwinking everybody into thinking Russell Wilson was this good, and all of us not realize that, no, it was more about Seattle being a super competent organization and putting their players in positions to succeed, because this has got to be the best trade of all time for the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. Yes, without a doubt.
There was like some Saints talk when Russ got traded too.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember that, and people were mad that didn't work out.
To be clear, I knew the price was high, but I thought Russ was going to be good. I thought this was going to be maybe a bit, not to the full extent, but I thought this might have been a bit like Peyton Manning 2.0 in Denver. And so I'm not saying I knew any better. I'm just merely commenting on, with the benefit of hindsight, it is awe-inspiring in how bad the trade was.
Yes, like his contract, you mentioned like it might make someone like me mad. Not as much as like Chase Daniel getting $41.8 million to start 5 games. Like that makes me more angry that I played like 65 games and got nothing close to that. But
why you gotta go after Chase like that, bro?
Because he made $41.8 million and started 5 games. Good on him.
He's really good at breaking down film, dude, and blitz packages. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe you should have chopped up some film for Peyton and Rivers.
Is he good at picking up Ed Reed off the edge?
What about your boy Charlie Whitehurst?
He didn't make $41.8 million.
He didn't? I thought old Charlie Clipboard was pretty close to it, dude. He damn near.
Nope.
But either way, yes.
Nope.
How do you feel though, Russell Wilson? $124 million.
The cap number is just
85 in dead money.
I mean,
really, I can't wrap my head around it.
I can't either. You're talking about, like you said, I mean, not quite half. We know that, but that's a percentage that you can't have. It must just be so bad.
That's what I'm saying. How did it get to that point where Sean Payton, who really needs to win, like everybody's willing to be, you know what, we're just going to suck this year, but we have to move on.
You were talking about the cap number, 85. So the two previous highs was 40.5 when the Falcons cut Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
And just last year, 40.3 with Aaron Rodgers to the Packers. So Russell Wilson's cap hit is more than double the next two highest combined.
Jeez, dude. It's unbelievable.
Charlie Whitehurst only made $17.5 million.
Okay, never mind. My bad. My bad, Clip.
Yeah, 41.8.
My bad, dog.
Yeah.
Shout out Chase Daniel. GOAT backup, dude. That's why Aaron Murray didn't make it longer in the league. He kept getting cucked by Chase Daniel.
Dude, 5 games.
First in Philly, then in Kansas City.
41.8 milli.
Yeah. Shout out to the legend. Yeah, but at least he never went on 85 for dead money. Like, you still got value out of Chase Daniel if you were one of those teams, because he was doing his role within the organization and setting up some starters for incredible success.
Mm-hmm.
He actually came on Snaps and gave us. He said Alex Smith. He said Breeze wasn't really that like weird about like the footballs and everything. He said Alex Smith is who taught him how to really prepare football. Alex Smith would do what the MLB does, Jake. You know that Mississippi mud that MLB like rubs very famously like over all the Major League Baseball.
LSU does that.
They do that here? Okay, yeah, I was going to say because he said Alex Smith in Kansas City does that too.
Yeah.
They'd sit there and they'd like cover it in mud. They would bake it, and then this guy would just scrape hundreds of them, hundreds of them to get that real tacky, good grip on the big old Duke.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. But, hey, it's your lifeline.
Yeah.
Hey, and if I'm making $41.8 million, I would have mudded those footballs for anybody that needed mudding on the football.
And to be fair, I don't think Chase was doing the mudding either.
Well,
they would pick the balls. They would go through ball by ball, and Alex Smith would say, okay, this gets mud, this is thrown out, this is a kicker ball, blah, blah, blah.
So going back to the original, because if I just keep saying $41.8 million, I'm going to only get more angry. What do the Broncos do now at quarterback? Like, they thought they had this figured out for the next, 3 years.
Paxton Lynch? Is he still out there somewhere?
Trevor Siemian coming back. So, Sean Payton now has a big decision to make, and if they end up making a move and drafting a quarterback in a very heavy quarterback draft, it's going to not only be they moved up or, they selected this guy in the first round, but it's going to be they selected this guy and paid Russ $85 million to go away, to not be in the building. Because even as a backup, they thought that if they drafted a quarterback, he was only going to do damage to the backup quarterback and not help him grow in his career.
When are the Broncos drafting?
12th.
They'd have to move up.
Feels like too high of a price to move up.
Unless they like J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Who I think will still be there.
Yeah, it feels like too high of a price to move up.
And J.J. feels like a quarterback Sean Payton would feel like he could work with.
Well, not only that, what was Breeze great at with Sean Payton? It was the short intermediate game. Yeah. McCarthy's good at that. Bo Nix was awesome at that. And I get that 12's too high for him, but those are the style guys that Sean Payton's had success with.
So again, you got Derek Carr, but at least you don't got 85 milli in dead money. And at least you have some sort of direction. Whereas if you're the Denver Broncos and I'm the oligarchs of the Walton and Kroenke family that just paid for that franchise, I'm feeling some type of way that now this year essentially feels like a wasted year. That's crazy. I didn't realize the Packers had all that success, youngest roster in the league, and carried a $40 million cap.
40.3 for Rodgers, and then the Falcons were 40.5 for Ryan.
Yeah, but the Falcons were bad, right? Yeah. The Packers made themselves into one of the better teams in the NFL.
And part of the reason they did that is because they already had Jordan Love. They kind of knew what they had in him.
Imagine that. You kind of lay the groundwork for the future. Unreal. All right, when we get back, I want to get into a bit of this Caitlin Clark, Pete Maravich conversation. We still got to play that Jason Kelce quote about the locker room as well, which is fantastic. And you get all your content at youtube.com/1045ESPN. So keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, OTB listeners, lock in, because we're talking about Trash Rangers. And if you live in Livingston or Ascension Parish, remember, you have a choice about what to do with your trash. You are one of the lucky few. And chances are you've seen your neighbors, your coworkers, your loved ones, they got these red cans popping up, these red trucks. That's Trash Rangers. Why did they make the switch? Because it's local and it's an attention to customer service and detail that you're not going to get out of these national companies that take the trash, or excuse me, they keep the trash in Louisiana but take the profits out of state, not at Trash Rangers. Also, apparently, Brittany Rose is smashing us and generating leads right now, guys, okay? Granted, maybe the Tigers more of that listening here. I don't know, but I don't care. Okay, we need more OTB support for Trash Rangers. Go to trashsignup.com today and see what Trash Rangers can offer you.
Reliable weekly service, no hidden fees, weekly text reminders, right? They do the work for you. Go to that website, trashrangersllc.com.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. The LSU football Tigers are on the practice field kicking off spring. We'll have your update. Join us 3 to 6, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. All right, let's get into the Caitlin Clark, Pete Maravich thing. Here's what I hate about this conversation is so as I teased it, I said Jaylen Clark versus Pete Maravich, right? Versus, whatever you want to say. It doesn't have to be that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think anybody with a functioning brain can easily engage with the differences between the two. It's different eras. There's a 3-point line. It's more games. It's less games. It's male. It's female. And in my mind, I would love and think that both these players should be celebrated independently, like for what they both did, because Pistol Pete is generational and Jaylen Clark is generational. And they are both the all-time leading scorers in their respective silos. So the only thing I hate is that people, whichever side you fall on, people have just used this as a launching pad to either be like, like men's sports sucks, or like, like women's sports sucks. And again, I just want to say, I don't think it has to be that way. I think Jaylen Clark's incredible. I think she's the all-time leading scorer in basketball, and that's amazing what she's done here and bringing attention to the women's college game. And as Coach Mulkey said, it's generational, but I think Pistol Pete is different as well and generational and was ahead of the game in a way that we've never seen before, doing what he did in 3 years, no 3-point line, averaging over 40 points a game. And so I just want to say, celebrate both of these independently. Don't get sucked in to making it an us versus them. Don't get sucked in to making it some sort of binary argument when it doesn't have to be. Maravich is awesome. Clark's awesome. Bottom line.
I'm with you wholeheartedly. I think they're both incredible players. They both are doing things that nobody else has literally ever done. And we can have the argument, and Pistol Pete, to me, is the greatest college basketball player of all time. That's not going to change. I think Jaylen Clark has put herself into the conversation of being the greatest women's basketball player of all time, because she's doing it in a generation when there's more resources, there's more teams that are competitive. In basketball, like we have seen Louisiana Tech in the 80s, Tennessee in the 90s, UConn in the 2000s, they have been dominant. And South Carolina is dominant, but they don't have like 5 straight titles, right?
No.
They've won a couple of titles,
Yes.
but so like women's basketball right now is at an all-time high. I think you can make that argument, and she's doing it during the most difficult time. So there's that portion of it, and also the Pistol Pete stuff, and the fact that if he had a 3-point line, if he would have played 4 years, like all of those things, like those are all arguments that are valid. But I think I'm just going to appreciate the greatness of both.
I think one thing as well is one great way, because comparing eras of sports is fraught with pitfalls, right? And like illogical comparisons where, you want to compare a football player to the 50s and just compare his numbers to that of somebody nowadays, and it doesn't even look like the same game. I mean, not even the 50s, bro. I told you a few weeks ago, me and the old man are sitting there just hanging out on a Sunday and start randomly looking up old box scores, right? And it's like, if you're an NFL quarterback and you're like 58% completion with 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, like that's a solid ass game.
Yeah.
That's average, below average nowadays. And so I think the bigger thing is, how did you perform in comparison to your peers at the time? And that's where a Pistol Pete shines so brightly, is that he was so far ahead of the curve as to be almost alien compared to the game that he was playing at the time. It's the same thing as like a Wilt Chamberlain. And granted, in the modern era, it's probably a bit harder to exist that far ahead, but we do see it, right? I would put Steph Curry in that number. I mean, if you look at how he legitimately transformed the entirety of the NBA game and how it is played, it still does exist. So yeah, both are great. Both are awesome. Both are extra normal. Both are outliers, and both are record holders. I'm going to get to this Jason Kelce sound. Anything else on that? All right. So Jason Kelce, we played his love of football, but when he talked about what he's going to miss the most, he has a quote about locker rooms that I think speaks to what has been one of my favorite aspects of the game. It's a longer quote, but it's worth listening to in full. Here's what Jason Kelce had to say.
I'd like to thank my teammates, my other brothers. Oh, how I've drawn my strengths from you all. I was fortunate to play with great players, some of the best this league has to offer. But it was really off the field, just sitting in the cafeteria with my teammates, breaking bread and talking about life, that were some of the most meaningful times I spent in my career. The NFL is truly like no other place, and at the same time, represents America as a whole like no other. Fat offensive linemen from Cleveland play on the same field as skinny wide receivers from Louisiana and kickers from Chicago. Tight ends from Stanford play next to tackles from Kilgore Community College. Defensive ends from inner city Detroit play next to defensive tackles from Yazoo City, Mississippi. 6'9" Jordan Mailata plays the same sport as 4'8" Darren Sproles. The melting pot of geographic location, economic background, race, body type, personality, and athletic traits of an NFL locker room is truly remarkable. And we all rely on each other and respect one another and each of our differences because we know we're stronger together. I will always cherish this brotherhood, the relationships it fostered, and how unique an experience it has been to enjoy the field with you all. Coming to work every day with a group of men who were driven to be the best in the world at what they do is an environment that will surely be hard to replicate.
That's beautiful, man. To me, that is the American dream right now. And that is something that's a bit unparalleled. Now, baseball certainly has an element of this probably as well, but it's not like, I mean, he said it right. It's not just people from different economic backgrounds. It's size differences. It's cultural differences. It's now more of a global game that's seeing guys from different countries find their way to these locker rooms. It is like when you think about what you were sold on in junior high social studies, right? The idea of America being the true melting pot of the world. Maybe nowhere is that better represented than in an NFL locker room like that. I thought that was poignant. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was well said. There's a very funny shot at Darren Sproles in there.
No, wow,
and
whoa.
4'8".
Whoa.
The 4'8".
He did not deserve that stray. He could have said his actual height. He did not need to throw a stray at my guy Sproles.
And it's it just really touches me, man, because it's also in line with my personal experiences, which is, being a very privileged kid from suburban Georgia and a very silver spoon upbringing. There are so many guys throughout all of sports. It's not just playing college sports, or it's any level to an extent, but certainly as you get higher, you bring from even more and more diverse backgrounds. But it just led me to forming relationships with people that I never would have otherwise worked with, met, interacted with, and it's helped to make me a more fully fleshed out human being. And that's where the real joy and the real value of sports lies. So take a bow, Jason Kelce, going out on top the same way that you played your entire NFL career.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree with you. The locker room in often times is the greatest place on earth. There's just things that don't happen there that just happen on the outside, and you can avoid those things. You can escape in a locker room from those things for however long you're in there. And some of my best relationships and friendships are people from all over the country, and the locker room is a place that you'll miss first and you'll miss the most when you're done playing.
Yazoo City, Mississippi.
I don't even know where that is.
It's in Mississippi.
Taylor, do you know where that's at?
I believe it's northern Mississippi because I've driven through it a few times on our way to Tennessee. I think it's a little bit north of Jackson. I could be wrong on that, but I have driven through it before.
Yeah, no idea.
All right, when we get back, let's do a little Ask the Bench to close out the show.
Off the Bench with HESTER and T-Bob.
AccuTempBR.com, AccuTempBR.com. AC, heat, and electrical needs, you want AccuTemp. Y'all, service to the highest degree is their core mission statement. It is at the center of everything that they do. And when you work with AccuTemp, you're going to experience it firsthand, and it's unlike anything you've ever experienced. That's why the reviews are so incredibly high right now. And so why don't you take control of your comfort zone? Again, AC, heating, electrical, don't overthink it. Don't think twice. The answer is AccuTemp. AccuTemp Baton Rouge, AccuTempBR.com.
Once you go to the website, remember we always tell you can schedule that appointment right there on the homepage, top right corner, schedule online, and oftentimes That's going to be today. And then once that appointment is set, they're going to send you a profile of who is coming into your home, a little bio of who is coming to your home, a picture of who is coming in to your home, and you're going to trust that person. They're going to be somebody that has all the 5-star reviews, just like AccuTemp, AccuTempBR.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
He's here. Anyone want a Coors Light?
Oh, shoot, I forgot to play the song. I got a guy who can fix this.
It was a humid day. Barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time to slip away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Join us for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch from Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Andy Esco joins us from Las Vegas, and we do first class, second class, and no class. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And 1130 The Tiger.
Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Curse Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, and Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Sweet. Ask the Bench, would you build your franchise around Shane Falco or Stephen Willie Beeman or any other fictional quarterback?
Ooh, I'm going to go Willie Beeman because Willie made it to the professional ranks, where Shane Falco made it to a Sugar Bowl at Ohio State, but he was a replacement player.
Also, he's a little bit younger, too, because when Shane came back, he had been out of the game 6 or 7 years. So Willie Beeman's the answer.
Yeah.
I'm going with Mike Winchell because not only was he a very good high school quarterback in some of the most competitive high school football over there in Texas, but he also proved to be very adept at driving cars, drifting cars, and generally navigating the Tokyo underground racing scene.
So wait, could this have been anybody, or was it just?
Yeah, I thought it was just the two.
Beeman
Well,
and
he
Falco.
said, or any other fictional quarterback.
Oh,
you let
Matt
that part out.
Saracen, Friday Night Lights,
Yeah,
my
I was
favorite
gonna
TV
say,
show
we're
of all
doing all of
time.
them. I'm going Matt
Undersized, but
Back, Winchell.
gritty as hell. Matt Saracen all day.
I mean, with the way that I started this show, I feel like I got to go.
Off the
My
bench with
ancient
Hester
football.
and T-Bob.
All-Star Toyota
Oh,
line.
it went Australian quick.
Hey, let me try to do something a little cockney.
Hey, that's better.
All right.
That's better.
Hey,
The French
you!
one from this morning.
Oi, lad! Well, I see you driving that old car there. Maybe you need to go check out little All-Star Toyota. See what they can offer you. They got great deals whether you're looking to buy a new, used, Toyota certified used vehicle. Get a better deal. It's a better deal, isn't it? Go check them out today, All-Star Toyota. BatonRouge.com.
You lost it a little bit.
No, I'm trying.
I thought you were going to go the full minute.
I tried.
I'll work on my accent tomorrow. All I've really got is the country accent, but they have more available at All-Star. Not just a one-trick pony. They've got the full fleet available. Buying new, leasing, and renting. Everything is right there. Call Miss Lisa Sessions today in the rental department to get that rental reserved. All-Star Toyota BatonRouge.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.